Pokémon, trainer of divine pets. Hello again, dear adventurers of the multiverse. Thanks for joining us once more on this epic journey. Remember, this story is pure science fiction from our wild imagination, so don't go trying to summon dragons in your backyard. The rights of this amazing novel belong entirely to its original author. We are only the narrators. Do you want more adventures? Show some love to our YouTube channel with a subscription and a like, and if you want exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting for you with open arms. Chapter 401 Change of Venue, Fight Again. Gyarados, Dragon Pulse. Gyarados used Dragon Pulse, matching the speed of Talonflame and hitting it, knocking it down from the air. Use Hydro Pump. After Talonflame landed on the ground, Xihen launched a second attack, hitting Talonflame with Hydro Pump. For the flying and fire-type Talonflame, this Hydro Pump was extremely effective. Talonflame has taken 2 attacks. The situation is not good, the host shouted into the microphone. Talonflame. You're still okay, Ash shouted at Talonflame, who managed to take flight. Hydro Pump, although it still had a chance to fight back, its opponent was Xihen, so it wouldn't give him a chance to retaliate. Hydro Pump hit Talonflame again, this time rendering it unable to battle. Master Xihen gave chase and used a high-pressure water gun, knocking down Talonflame. This is Ash's second Pokémon. What will Ash's third Pokémon be? You've done your best, Talonflame. Come back and rest. Ash recalled Talonflame and took out his third Pokémon. This Pokémon was unable to battle, so they needed to change locations. Ash is about to send out his third Pokémon. Although Master Xihen's Pokémon is also his third, only one of them is unable to battle. The current situation is very unfavorable for Ash. Go, Pikachu. Ash took out his third Pokémon, Pikachu. Using Pikachu to deal with Gyarados was a good choice. Pikachu, use Quick Attack. Ash first had Pikachu use Quick Attack to approach Gyarados. Pikachu's speed was still as fast as ever. Quick Attack hit Gyarados. Although Gyarados didn't retreat, it still caused damage. Thunderbolt. A flash of lightning was followed by a Thunderbolt, which successfully struck Gyarados, causing considerable damage. Pikachu, jump into the water and use Thunderbolt. Oh no, Gyarados, get out. Ash had another ingenious idea. Yuki quickly told Gyarados to jump out of the water, but Pikachu, already in front of Gyarados, jumped in and used Thunderbolt. Water conducts electricity, amplifying the power of Thunderbolt, which shocked Gyarados in pain. After Thunderbolt ended, Gyarados was panting heavily. Pikachu, give him the final electric ball. This was indeed the final electric ball. After being hit by the electric ball, Gyarados was completely exhausted and unable to battle. Gyarados is unable to battle, Pikachu wins. Ash's Pikachu turned the tide. It successfully defeated the Golden Gyarados, rendering it unable to battle. Come back, Gyarados. Xihen recalled Gyarados, somewhat helplessly. Ash's battle style was truly something else. Go, Cygnus. Xihen brought out Cygnus again. The rock-type Cygnus rendered Ash's electric-type moves ineffective. Cygnus, use Rock Tomb. Cygnus used Rock Tomb again, hurling waves of rocks at Ash's Pikachu. Ash's Pikachu struggled to dodge the Rock Tomb, but was still immobilized. Well done, Cygnus. Use Rock Smash. Rock Smash followed by Rock Smash. Rock-type moves do a lot of damage to Pikachu, sending it flying and exposing it in midair. Xihen was about to attack again. Ancient Power, Roar. Cygnus roared, and rocks appeared around its body, all crashing down on Pikachu in midair. The rocks hit perfectly, sending Pikachu rolling on the ground, suffering considerable damage. Use Giga Impact. Cygnus jumped over the river and used Giga Impact to charge at the just-asleep Pikachu, sending it flying into the tunnel behind Ash, rendering it unable to battle. Pikachu unable to battle, Cygnus wins. Because Ash's 3 Pokémon are unable to battle, we're changing the field. Come back. Because of the change, Xihen recalled Cygnus. The field changed to a wilderness area, just plain ground and small hills. The only difference from the grassy area was the absence of a river and grass. Go, Cygnus. After changing the battleground, Xihen still used Cygnus. Master Xihen is still using Cygnus. Cygnus has already defeated 2 of Ash's Pokémon. What will Ash do next? I choose you. Go, Noivern. Ash's 4th Pokémon was not unexpected by Xihen, it was Noivern. Noivern, use Blast Wave. It seems Ash wanted to maintain distance in the battle, using Blast Wave to hit Cygnus first. Rock Seal couldn't seal the Noivern, which had increased its height, and Xihen was at a disadvantage for a moment. Use Sonic Wave again. After the first successful use, Ash used Sonic Wave a second time, hitting Machamp again. Machamp had no chance. Use Actor, grab him. Noivern used Actor to charge at Machamp. Machamp tried to grab it, but Noivern was too fast, and Machamp couldn't catch it. It was hit by Actor, and with a final Sonic Wave, Machamp finally lost its ability to battle. Machamp is unable to battle, Noivern wins, Machamp is defeated. Ash has finally defeated Master Yuhun's Machamp. So, who will Master Yuhun's fourth Pokémon be? Not bad, it's the first time we've fought like this. Yuhun recalled Machamp, smiled, and said to Ash. Although these Pokémon were all new Pokémon he had caught in the Kalos region, Ash's were too. It seems that Ash is indeed growing. But I can't lose to you, go for it, Noivern. Xihun's fourth Pokémon was also Noivern. It's here. Master Xihun's fourth Pokémon, also Noivern. Both are Noivern, both are the fourth Pokémon. What kind of battle will these two trainers have? In the previous battle between Noivern and Tyranitar, Tyranitar didn't inflict any damage on Noivern, so Noivern only exhausted some stamina. The outcome of this battle is hard to predict. Noivern, Blast, will use Blast too. Both of them used Blast, the two blasts collided, and after a moment of stalemate, they cancelled each other out. Then, both sides used Aerial Amplifier, starting an aerial clash, and for a time, they were evenly matched. Although it looks good, its level is a bit low. As soon as Xihen finished speaking, Ash's Noivern began to gradually fall behind, its stamina consumption starting to decline. Chapter 402 Greninja and Greninja. Noivern, used Dragon Dive to suppress him. Just as the two Noivern were about to collide, Xihen used Dragon Dive on his Noivern, successfully suppressing Ash's Noivern and sending him flying. Noivern, Sonic Blast. Xihen immediately followed with Sonic Blast, slamming it into the fallen Noivern. Both attacks hit Ash's Noivern perfectly, successfully suppressing it. Ash's Noivern is at a disadvantage. What should Ash do now? Seeing Ash gradually falling behind, the host picked up the microphone and shouted, "Noivern, fly!" Ash's words acted like a buff, allowing Noivern to struggle and take flight, but what good did it do? Noivern, Stuntman. Just as Ash's Noivern got up, Xihen launched another attack. Stuntman rushed over at lightning speed and hit Ash's Noivern, slamming it to the ground again. After Dragon Dive, give it a final Hyper Beam, Xihen's Noivern flew up, used Dragon Dive, and slammed into Ash's Noivern, followed by a Hyper Beam, rendering Ash's Noivern unable to battle. Noivern is unable to battle. Xihen's Noivern wins. Ash's Noivern has been defeated. Master Xihen's Noivern has won. This is Ash's fourth Pokémon to fall, and the final battle has reached its climax. Who will be Ash's fifth Pokémon? What an amazing Noivern! Ash scoffed, recalled Noivern, and took out his fifth Pokémon, which, unsurprisingly, would be Goodra, which had appeared in previous battles. I choose you, Goodra. Ash's fifth Pokémon was indeed Goodra. Come back, this battle was practically won. Go, Squidward. Squidward was Xihen's fifth Pokémon. Currently, Xihen still had Squidward, Gyarados, Noivern, and Greninja, while Ash only had Greninja and Goodra. By any measure, Xihen had won, unless Ash's Greninja could turn the tide. However, Xihen didn't think his Greninja would lose to Ash's Greninja. If Ash's Greninja fought against his Greninja, it would be equivalent to his Greninja fighting two Greninjas. Goodra, a Dragon-type Pokémon, attacks with its extendable horn. Its power is equivalent to the punches of 100 professional boxers, yet it's a very friendly Pokémon. It hugs its favorite trainer tightly and makes them slippery with its slime. Xihen first took out his Pokédex to look at Goodra's information. He had never seen this Pokémon before, and judging from its stats, it seemed to be a pseudo-legendary. Goodra, create your favorite environment. Use Rain Dance first. Ash had Goodra use Rain Dance first, and it seemed that Goodra liked the humid environment. Octopus, use Psychic. Octopus immediately used Psychic to grab Goodra. Goodra, use Indoor. Just as Xihen was about to attack, Ash had Goodra use Indoor to withstand Xihen's attack. Can you hold back? Slam her hard. Xihen had Octopus slam Goodra hard, and Goodra was smashed against the wall, leaving a large crater. Dark Pulse. Octopus then used Dark Pulse to slam Goodra again. Let her attack. Through telepathy, Octopus spoke to Xihen, and Xihen nodded. Attack. Ash also attacked, using the energy accumulated from Indoor to strike Octopus. Protect, Xihen said calmly as the attack came. A green aura appeared around Octopus, blocking the counter-attack from Indoor. Octopus revealed a human-like smile, a sly smile. Psychic interference? After blocking the attack, Xihen had the Squidward use psychic interference again to grab Ghidra. This time, it prevented her from using any moves, repeatedly slamming her against the wall until she lost her ability to battle. A perfectly good pseudo-legendary Pokémon was disgusted to death by Squidward like this. It was only because Xihen's Squidward had strong psychic ability that it might have been able to break free. Ghidra is unable to battle, Squidward wins. Although Ghidra was beaten quite badly, the referee quickly announced the result of the battle. Come back and rest, Ghidra. Ash reluctantly recalled Ghidra, wanting to end the battle as soon as possible and send Ghidra to the Pokémon Center for treatment. Come back, Squidward, Xihen recalled Squidward. The battle could have been ended much earlier, but this guy insisted on making Ghidra use its attacks for its own amusement. Go, Greninja, I choose you, Greninja. Xihen and Xiaozi exchanged a glance, then simultaneously released their Greninjas. The two Pokeballs collided, and Greninjas jumped out. Both players have released Greninjas at the same time. As we all know, in this match, only Master Xihen and Xiaozi's Greninjas can undergo that incredible evolution. This is the scene we've been most eagerly anticipating, the host shouted into the microphone. We've finally witnessed the scene we've been waiting for. Greninja, begin, Xihen and Xiaozi shouted simultaneously, and both Greninjas began their bond phenomenon. A water tornado erupted from Xiaozi's Greninja, condensing into a giant water shuriken, while Xihen's Greninja transformed into a bond phenomenon Greninja in the blink of an eye. It's happened. Both Greninjas have undergone incredible evolution. The host was very excited, as were the audience members, because they had never seen Greninjas evolve like this before. Greninja, use Cut. Ash launched the first attack, sending his Greninja to use Cut to charge at Xihen's Greninja. Greninja, Dig, then use Cut. Xihen's Greninja used Dig to dodge Ash's Greninja's Cut, then use a Shadow Clone Underground before jumping out from under Ash's Greninja's feet and using Cut to hit Ash's Greninja, gaining the upper hand. Greninja, Water Shuriken. Ash's Greninja created distance and used Water Shuriken. Water Shuriken. Xihen also sent her Greninja to use Water Shuriken. The two Water Shurikens collided, evenly matched, but then another Water Shuriken came from behind Ash and hit his Greninja, sending it flying in front of Xihen's Greninja. Chapter 403 Greninja's Defeat. Ash's Greninja did a backflip, landing on the ground, clutching its stomach. Those two blows had indeed caused it considerable damage. Greninja, are you alright? Ash asked, also clutching his stomach. After bond phenomenon, the two were connected. If Greninja was in pain, he was in pain too. I'm fine, Ash's Greninja shouted, standing up. Shadow Clone. Ash used a Shadow Clone, creating over 20 Greninjas, which charged towards Xihen's Greninja. Use Water Pulse. Greninja, use your tongue to disperse all the shadows. Xihen's Greninja extended its tongue, scattering Ash's Greninja's Shadow Clones and interrupting its Water Pulse. That feels like Ash's battle style, Serena remarked from the stands, watching Xihen have Greninja use its tongue to disperse Ash's Greninja's Shadow Clones. It was definitely Ash who would do something like that. So strong, Ash and Greninja thought to themselves at the same time. Greninja, close combat, Water Shuriken. Just then, Xihen was about to attack. Both Greninjas launched an attack. Ash's Greninja hurled a Water Shuriken, which Ash's Greninja dodged, but Xihen's Greninja grabbed it and attacked it in close combat, finally kicking it away. Ash clutched his chest and frowned. We need to find a way to take down that clone first. The clone has been there for so long. Ash had fought Xihen's Greninja before, but this clone was becoming increasingly difficult to deal with. Greninja, use Cut on the clone. Greninja understood Ash's meaning. It turned around sharply and used Cut on the clone. It was fast and hit the clone, sending it flying. Then it threw a Water Shuriken at the clone, and the clone disappeared. Well done, Greninja. Ash was pleased to see the clone disappear. Xihen pursed her lips. With a clone gun, it wouldn't be able to create another one for a while. Not bad, Greninja. Water Shuriken. Xihen smiled and attacked again, throwing a Water Shuriken at Ash's Greninja. Greninja, time to counterattack. Water Shuriken. Ash's expression returned with confidence. Ash's Greninja used Water Shuriken, colliding with Xihen's. Slash, spin attack, the two water shurikens clashed, and the two Greninjas met again. Xihen's Greninja used Slash, while Ash's Greninja used Spin Attack. Spin Attack gained the upper hand, and Xihen's Greninja was kicked away. Greninja, now's your chance, Water Pulse. Ash seized the opportunity and used Water Pulse again, hitting the fallen Greninja. Greninja's injuries were not much different from Ash's Greninja's. Ash's Greninja is retaliating. After scattering Master Xihen's Greninja clones, Ash's Greninja is gradually gaining the upper hand. Greninja, Water Shuriken. Xihen used Water Shuriken again. Water Shuriken. Ash's eyes matched his Greninja's, staring intently at Xihen's Greninja. He drew his Water Shuriken, but instead of throwing it, he raised it above his head. Just as Xihen's Water Shuriken was about to reach him, Ash's Greninja's Water Shuriken suddenly grew larger. His Water Shuriken was 3 times stronger than Yuhan's Greninja's Water Shuriken. After being thrown, it completely crushed Yuhan's Water Shuriken, sending Yuhan's Greninja flying into the passage behind Yuhan, dying in the same way as Pikachu had earlier. Greninja is unable to battle. Ash's Greninja wins. Yuhan was silent. That Water Shuriken, how could it have such power? Yuhan stared at Ash's Greninja, his eyes unwavering. What level of bond did they have to unleash such a powerful Water Shuriken? Ash. Ash won. Serena and the others were excited and thrilled to see Ash win. Yuhan recalled Greninja and took out another Pokeball. Thankfully, he had other Pokemon, otherwise, he would have lost to Ash this time. Chapter 404, Zygarde appears. Go, Noivern. Xihen summoned Noivern again, but before the battle even began, both Ash and Greninja collapsed. What's going on? Ash fainted. The hosts, seeing Ash collapse, stood up and looked at him. Greninja is unable to battle. Since all of Ash's Pokemon are unable to battle, the final winner is Xihen. Although Ash was unconscious, Greninja was also unable to battle, so the referee still declared Ash the loser. Although Ash defeated Master Xihen's Greninja, he still lost in the end. What a pity. Congratulations Master Xihen. You've once again won the Kalos Region Championship, the host shouted into the microphone. Ash woke up and recalled Greninja. Congratulations, Xihen. Ash seemed very satisfied. Although he lost, he was happy to have defeated so many of Xihen's Pokemon. It was the first time. Xihen nodded. So, will we have the honor of witnessing Master Xihen challenge the 4 Heavenly Kings of Kalos next? The host continued. Yes, I will be challenging the 4 Heavenly Kings of Kalos next. Xihen's words were cut short when the ground suddenly shook, and several red vines stretched into the arena. The audience immediately panicked, and the sky began to darken, gradually turning red. What's going on? Citron stood up. Little Softy, Eureka suddenly shouted. Little Softy in her bag ran out, and Eureka immediately chased after it. Citron hurried after Eureka, and Serena quickly followed. What's going on? Xihen frowned, recalled Noivern, and looked at the surrounding red vines. Is this some kind of Pokemon trouble? Just as Xihen was wondering, the image of Ladradary appeared on the large screen in the venue. He first laughed wildly, then pointed to Pokemon behind him. See that? This is the legendary Pokemon, Zygarde. He was currently in the center of Luminous City, at the top of the Crystal Tower. Behind him stood a Pokemon emitting a dark red light. That was Zygarde, in its 50% form. That's Zygarde. Xihen had heard of Zygarde before, so this is what it looks like. Xihen. At this moment, Gadria and May ran out from the passage behind Xihen. Yeah, Xihen turned around and nodded when he saw them. What's that guy doing? May pointed at the person on the screen, Ladradary. I don't know, I just want to see what kind of trouble a mere Zygarde can cause. Xihen curled his lip and looked at Ladradary with disdain. Beep beep beep, Xihen's phone rang at that moment. Nikki, what's wrong? Xihen answered the phone. It was Nikki calling. Brother Xihen, what's wrong over there? Nikki was watching Xihen's match live when suddenly the screen changed, showing that person with blonde hair. It's nothing, don't worry, it's just an idiot causing trouble, Xihen said nonchalantly, but the people in the venue had already run away, and the streets were in chaos, causing panic. Xiaozi was caught as soon as he ran out. Oh, if he dares to bully my main Xihen, you can give him a good beating, don't worry, this guy interrupted my challenge against the Elite Four, I'd beat him up even without you saying so. Xihen looked at the Zygarde. Let alone one Zygarde, even if another one appeared. Bang! Before Xihen could finish thinking, a green Zygarde actually jumped out. The two zygardes clashed. Xihen raised an eyebrow. There really was one. Wow, now there are two. Naki on the other end of the phone chuckled playfully. Okay, I'll go for a bit, I'll hang up now. Xihen reluctantly hung up the phone. As soon as the call ended, Xihen saw the green zygarde on the big screen, as if it had been hit by some kind of light, and then turned dark red. Ah! That zygarde has turned red too, Mei shouted, pointing at the screen. Is there another device that can control Pokémon? Yuhan's previously indifferent gaze turned serious. The device that controlled Pokémon had given Yuhan a terrible lesson last time. He almost died at the hands of Camille Haneda. This time, he had to take down the device first before showing himself. Why hadn't he appeared yet? At the top of the tower, Lasatari thought to himself. Z1 and Z2 had already appeared, and Ash had been successfully captured. The plan was progressing smoothly. There was another link in Lasatari's plan, Yuhan's Pokémon. Lasatari had already witnessed the power of Yuhan's Pokémon at this tournament. If he could control this ability, no one would be able to deal with him. Yuhan first went to the Pokémon Center to change his Pokémon. They had just been in battle and were seriously injured. Although the city was in chaos, the Pokémon Center was still operating normally. The center was packed with people, but Yuhan only needed to use the computer to change his Pokémon, and it was done quickly. With a snap, a vine pierced through the roof, startling the Pokémon Center staff and Pokémon, who all shouted, "Cut! Use Cut!" Xihen threw out a Pokéball and used Cut to sever the vine. Xihen and his group moved out. Xihen had brought Cut to cut these vines. With Cut clearing the way, the vines couldn't stop them, and they rescued many people along the way. Xihen was searching everywhere for the device that controlled the Pokémon. If he didn't find it, he couldn't act. If it controlled Dialga or Palkia again, he wouldn't be able to handle it. On the way, Xihen also saw Serena and Professor Sycamore board a television station plane, heading towards the headquarters of the Fraudery Corporation. Mei had even called Serena to warn her to be careful. Have you found it yet? Xihen looked everywhere but couldn't find the machine. No. I can't find it anywhere. Mei looked around but couldn't find it either. Gadria bit her fingertip and thought for a moment. It must be high up, about the same height as the Crystal Tower. Of course I know. Mire City is very developed. There are skyscrapers everywhere. That's why it's so hard to find. Xihen patted Gadria's little head. Oh, Gadria scratched her head pitifully and continued searching for the device with Xihen and Mei. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 405 Untitled Chapter. The matter was finally over. Hoopa showed the shadowy figure in the judgment jar fragments of his past life, telling him that his older sister was waiting for him to calm down. The shadowy figure finally calmed down, and the judgment jar stopped emitting its dark purple light. The legendary Pokémon all climbed out of the water, returning to normal. People around took out their phones to take pictures of the Pokémon. Just as everyone breathed a sigh of relief, the entire desert tower was surrounded by a purple halo. Damn it! Spatial distortion. The legendary Pokémon were all isolated outside, while Xihen and some civilians were trapped inside. How could I forget this? Pikachu, Thunderbolt. Ash panicked, ordering Pikachu to use Thunderbolt. The Thunderbolt attack on the purple halo had no effect. Palkia and the others outside also attacked, but to no avail. It's no use. These attacks are useless against spatial distortion. This place is going to be erased by space. Xihen grasped Mei's hand. Let Hoopa use his aura to send these people out. Xihen. Use this. Hoopa pointed to the punishment jar in the squid's hand. That's right. Xihen took the punishment jar from the squid, opened it, and restored Hoopa to his original form. This time, he didn't go berserk. Hoopa took out the 6 auras on his body and sent everyone out. The spatial distortion shrank smaller and smaller, destroying everything in its path. After everyone was out, the spatial distortion was very small and was closing in. Now you are left, hurry up and get out. But, Hoopa is afraid he can't get through the aura, Serena and the others shouted. Hoopa also looked helpless. Stop talking, you guys get out first. Xihen threw Xiaozi and the others out first, shrunk Hoopa to a small size, and then threw Mei out as well. At this point, the space distortion was so small that it could only accommodate 2 people. Xihen, May's hand reached in, but Xiaozi and the others pulled it back. Let's go. Xihen threw off his cloak and jumped out of the halo with Hoopa, but he was still blocked. Xihen, May couldn't calm down when she saw that Xihen couldn't get out and the space was still shrinking. This is bad. Xihen swallowed hard. He couldn't get out. He had been stubborn. Xihen tried to jump out again. Xiaozi grabbed Hoopa's hand and tried to pull Hoopa out, but he couldn't pull him out and bounced back again. The narrow space no longer allowed Xihen any further movement. Hoopa, listen, there's no other chance. We have to get out this time. Don't worry about this so-called punishment, it's just a mental demon, Xihen said to Hoopa, looking outside the halo. Hoopa looked at Xihen, his eyes gradually hardening, and nodded. Get out. Xihen rushed towards the halo. Xiaozi and the others pulled Hoopa back again. Hoopa looked at everyone, remembering the past, Balzac and Myri, and the great-grandfather. They treated him like family. Hoopa, don't disappear. Hoopa wants to be with everyone, Hoopa shouted loudly, and finally, he was dragged out. But the halo disappeared, and the spatial distortion stopped. It was now an empty space. Xihen, May sat weakly on the ground, tears streaming down her face. Xihen. Where was Xihen? Yuhan, Ash and the others stared at the empty space, their hearts heavy. Ash clenched his fists. Although Yuhan had slaughtered a Pokémon right in front of him, he was still a decent person. How could he just leave like this? The ending. Not happening. A beam of light shone in the sky, and the legendary Pokémon formed a circle beneath it. Shinayuma stood below, looking at his Rayquaza and Yuhan's Rayquaza. He didn't believe Yuhan was dead. If Yuhan were dead, then his Rayquaza would be dead too. Myri and Balzac's necklaces glowed, the clouds dispersed, and Arceus appeared in the center of the legendary Pokémon, a person sitting on its back. It was Yuhan. It's Yuhan, Serena shouted to the others, pointing at Arceus in the sky. May looked up and, sure enough, saw Yuhan on Arceus's back, rising from the ground. Xihen jumped from Arceus's back onto Rayquaza, and Arceus left. At the last moment of the spatial distortion, Arceus reappeared and took Xihen away. Xihen and Rayquaza caught up with the departing Arceus, and they talked high in the sky, unseen by the others. Every time there's a spatial distortion, you're there. I'm starting to suspect you're doing it on purpose, Xihen said, implying that Arceus was deliberately creating a spatial distortion in their area. You're always there when the legendary Pokémon cause trouble. It's your problem, Arceus retorted mercilessly. Take them all back. I don't think they want to leave you. Arceus looked down at the legendary Pokémon below and said to Xihen. I would have done that without you saying so, Xihen sighed, then watched Arceus disappear. Xihen returned to the ground and, under the gaze of millions, took out 6 Ultra Balls and captured all the legendary Pokémon. Although Kyurem, Groudon, and Kyogre weren't Xihen's Pokémon, they were still willing to follow him. So, who exactly is he? Balls' eyes nearly popped out of their sockets as they watched this scene. Because they were so focused on finding the retribution bottle, they were largely unaware of what was happening outside and had no idea who Yuhan was. He is the Sinnoh champion and Pokémon master, the vice mayor of Binhe City, Kamiya Yuhan, the trainer with the most legendary Pokémon, the eldest son and heir of the Kamiya family, currently the richest and strongest person in the world. I've already given a very simple introduction. Kamiya Tsunoya jumped out and said to them. Seems pretty amazing, Arceus. Arceus is believed to have created the entire Sinnoh region and even the entire Pokémon world, the Lakeons, Uxie, Memric, and Azelf, and the mythical Pokémon, Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina. Because of this, Arceus is considered the oldest Pokémon species. It is said to have been born from an egg in nothingness and then created the entire world. Legend has it that Arceus has 1,000 arms. Arceus possesses the ability to recreate the mythical Pokémon, a power speculated to be used to protect this dimension should Pokémon trainers capture any of them. According to the anime, Arceus also has the ability to restore destroyed objects, make things disappear, and stop time. Ancient historical records show that Arceus has always watched over and protected the Pokémon planet, saving humanity from catastrophes such as meteor showers. Arceus also shows equal kindness to those who show him respect and gratitude. Arceus dislikes being deceived and will resort to violence when betrayed or deceived. Arceus harbors resentment when deceived by someone he considers a friend. Chapter 406 The Moving Boulder. There are more and more vines in the town. We need to find a way to deal with the machines quickly, or, should we go save Ash first? May suggested. No, Xihen shook her head. That sildenafil came to me before. It must be because of my Pokémon. If I take out my Pokémon to save Ash now, my Pokémon will be controlled. It was already dusk, and the sky was still a dark red. Night was coming soon. Luna City had become a city of vines, with red vines everywhere. Trainers had taken out their Pokémon to deal with these red vines, but the vines kept appearing and couldn't be completely eliminated. This was just a waste of energy. Look! Ash and the others, Gadrillia pointed to the top of the Rainbow Crystal Tower. Ash had been dealt with by Lane, and his Pokémon had been released. Moreover, Ash and Elaine were already fighting Sildenafil. Sildenafil seemed to have a very strong Mega Gyarados that Ash and the others couldn't handle. Let them hold off Lysandre for now, we need to find it quickly. Found it, May pointed to the Rainbow Crystal Tower. A window on one floor of the Rainbow Crystal Tower had broken, and the device controlling the Pokémon was hidden inside. Gardevoir, teleport. Xihen immediately took out Gardevoir and teleported the three of them to the side of the Pokémon control device. Crush it to pieces. Gardevoir instantly Mega evolved, crushing the entire Pokémon control device into a useless metal ball with its psychic powers. Then, ignoring the stares of Lysandre's men, Xihen used Gardevoir to teleport the three of them to the side of the two Zygarde Pokémon. Without the Pokémon control device, the two Zygarde Pokémon gradually returned to normal, reverting to their core forms. It's Xihen, Clement shouted excitedly upon seeing Xihen. Little softy, Eurydice saw the Zygarde Pokémon return to normal and quickly ran over to pick it up. Looks like we accidentally resolved the crisis in Lumio City, May pouted and picked up the other Zygarde collar. Okay, I'll go help Ash. You guys stay here, Xihen nodded, then teleported again, arriving at the top of the Crystal Tower with Gardevoir. When Xihen arrived, there was another person there, one of the Kalos Elite Four, Pachira. It seemed she had already come to help. Looks like they've all been freed. Seeing that their cells were scattered, Pachira said to Lysandre, Lysandre, you've already lost. Ash also shouted, staring at Lysandre. Ha ha ha, Lysandre laughed instead of getting angry. This is really surprising. How long can you let me enjoy this? Lysandre said, and his Gyarados was about to attack again. I said. At this moment, a voice interrupted, stop with your little tricks. Blue light emanated from Gyarados' body, and then it was suddenly thrown away, flying a long distance. It was Gardevoir's psychic interference. It was you. Fiery frowned, watching the Gyarados fly away, and took out a Pokeball to retrieve it. Could it be that you were involved in Zygarde's affair too? That was just a lucky accident. Didn't expect your plan to be so easily defeated. Xihen curled her lip, saying indifferently. Your so-called ferocity and fighting instincts have been defeated. That's enough, Fiery, Ash and Elaine said in unison. Fiery smiled, taking steps backward. I won't give up my ambition because of this little thing. He had reached the edge of the tower, arms outstretched. I will definitely change this world. With that, he fell backward and jumped off the tower. Greninja, Ash called out to Greninja immediately. Greninja stuck out its tongue, but it was too late. At that moment, Ash's walkie-talkie rang. It was Serena calling, saying they had rescued Manon's Hardy. Daewoo, Xihen took the walkie-talkie. Is this Xihen? Daewoo also took Serena's walkie-talkie and recognized Xihen's voice. You guys need to be careful. The Lidra's plan won't end like this. Xihen had a feeling there was something else going on. It seemed this was what the gym leader of the 100 King Gym had predicted. I understand. Now we need to find the giant rock. What's that giant rock? Xihen asked Daewoo. It's something related to Megastones, Daewoo replied. I understand. Be careful. Xihen hung up after saying that, and then the group returned to where Catla and the others were. The two Zygarde cells seemed to have been negotiated and were both in Eurydice's arms. Not long after, Ash's walkie-talkie rang again. Ash, something bad has happened. Serena's voice came through first. What is it? Xihen took the walkie-talkie. Chucky has been absorbed by the giant rock in the Lidra's lab. Professor Syracuse's voice came from the other end of the walkie-talkie. You mean Chespin? Elaine exclaimed anxiously upon hearing Chespin. The boulder is moving somewhere, and we don't know where it's going. The sundial? Xihen paused for a moment before exclaiming, it's going to absorb the sundial's power. Let's go there now. Ash quickly added, okay. We'll continue following it. Ash and his friends boarded the plane. Since there wasn't enough room, Xihen used Valor to follow them. With Valor's speed, keeping up with them was a piece of cake. On the plane, Professor Sycamore explained, "We scanned the boulder, it's a combination of enormous energy, and its energy is very similar to Zygarde's." Images of the boulder appeared on Ash's plane. The moving boulder looked exactly like Zygarde's 50,000-degree form. We also detected Chespin's life force at its center. The data we found in the Fraudery lab also includes records of Chespin. According to the records, this Chespin absorbed Zygarde's energy into its body due to a previous accident. To obtain that energy, the rock absorbed the entire Chespin, Dago also told them. "I see," Xihen frowned. When Dr. Sycamore sent the data, the observant Gadriel had called Xihen, and Xihen had overheard their conversation. What's worse, just as Xihen said, the rock's next gaze was directed to absorb the sundial's energy. It's heading straight for the sundial. The sundial is a giant crystal that flew from space. Research has confirmed that the energy it releases is the same as the energy released when a Pokémon Mega evolves, Dr. Sycamore continued to explain. If the Megalith merges with the sundial, unpredictable things will happen, Xihen said through gritted teeth. It seemed she had underestimated Vladimir. Yes, if the Megalith merges with the sundial, this world will be destroyed. Chapter 407 The Gym Leaders Gather. Xihen and his group were about to reunite with Professor Sycamore and his team. Professor Sycamore's plane was closely following the boulder, with a news broadcast plane behind them. It was Team Rocket. Professor Sycamore and his team had already mega-evolved Garchomp and Metagross to try and stop the boulder. Serena had also used Charizard, and although its power was weak, it was still helpful. "I'll go first," Xihen saw them fighting. Metagross and Garchomp were bound by the boulder's vines, and Charizard had fallen. Xihen hung up the power and rushed over with Valor to catch Charizard. "Master," Serena exclaimed excitedly when she saw Xihen. "We're here." Ash and the others also took out their Pokémon and joined the battle. Charizard, Flamethrower. Elaine's Charizard Mega evolved and used Flamethrower on the boulder. Although the boulder was unharmed, it saved Metagross and Garchomp. Professor Syringe. "Where's the Chespin?" Ash shouted at Professor Syringe. "I don't know either. The scan only shows that Syringe is near the center of the boulder," Professor Syringe surprisingly said. "We can't kill it without taking out Syringe," Xihen smirked. Fennekin sat on Valor, and Xihen took out Gardevoir, the two of them floating in the air. "Greninja. You saw it too." At this moment, Ash suddenly said to Greninja next to him. Greninja nodded. They seemed to have seen the location of Syringe. "Okay, I've got an idea. Let's go, Greninja." Ash and Greninja smiled knowingly, and then Greninja jumped out of the plane. "Everyone, let's help Greninja." Gardevoir, use Psychic to make Greninja fly, Xihen said to Gardevoir, who then used Psychic on Greninja. Greninja then drew its Water Shuriken and hid a spot in the center of the boulder. "Chucky is there. Everyone, let's go for the Water Shuriken," Ash shouted excitedly. Pikachu, Thunderbolt, Garuda, Hyper Beam, Metamorphose, Electric Beam, Fennekin, Flamethrower, Charizard, Flamethrower, Valor, Thunderbolt. Everyone started attacking the center, but the vines were growing too fast, and the attacks were completely ineffective. In a short while, all of their Pokémon were caught by the vines. "They're in danger. What do we do?" Team Rocket was anxious, sitting on the plane. "Wow, that's really impressive." Xihen took out two Ultra Balls, a Veltal and Regigigas, but just then, a sudden burst of intense light erupted from the rock wall behind them, striking the boulder and loosening its vines, saving the Pokémon. A group of figures stood on the rock wall. "It's the gym leaders." "Ash, sorry to have kept you waiting." The first to speak was Corna, the gym leader of the Solid Gym, and her Lucario. "Looks like even if I tell him to stop, he won't listen." This was Diantha, the Kalos champion, and her Gardevoir. "How spectacular." "Chekro, don't hold me back." Violet, the gym leader of the Sandalwood Gym, and her Vivavo. "I know, by the way, this is a great place for rock climbing." The person who responded to Violet was Chekro, the gym leader of the Hiruka Gym, and his Cygnus. "That plant is very powerful. Get ready, Goat." Fuku, the gym leader of the Seawing Gym, and his Goat. "It's filled with an ominous aura." Martha, the gym leader of the Aroma Gym, and her Fragrance. "We absolutely cannot let him touch the sundial." This was the trainer of the 100-Kill City Gym, Jijehua, along with her two psychic Meowths. "That's the one, right? Let's go all out from the start." Finally, There was the gym leader of the Snowfall City Gym, Defu, and his Abamas now. The vines on the giant rock quickly grew back and continued their advance towards 100 Kill City, without stopping. We can't even buy them time, Diantha frowned and said, let's retreat first and devise a battle plan. Then the group went to the distant rock wall, the last line of defense. Blatano and Stephen explained the situation to Diantha and the others. I understand. Saving Chespin is the top priority, right? Yes, Stephen nodded. Use Pokemon moves to clear a path, then break into the giant rock. That water shuriken is the mark, Stephen nodded in response. Let's fight together, Diantha smiled and said to Stephen. It's an honor to fight alongside Diantha and Mr. Xihen. Me too, Mr. Stephen, Diantha smiled and said, while Xihen simply nodded in acknowledgement. There are no more reliable companions in this world than you two, Professor Sycamore chimed in. Alright, let's not delay, let's start the battle. Actually, it's not that complicated, Xihen landed from the air, having previously been floating with Gardevoir. I will open a passage into the body of the giant rock. One of you can go and bring Chespin out. I'll hold off the giant rock from the outside. Xihen's implication was that he could handle the giant rock alone, only one person needed to bring Chespin out. I'll go, who else but Ash could volunteer? But how are you going to open that passage? Stephen asked. Come out, Dialga, Palkia, Xihen smiled. Palkia, open the passage into the boulder's body. Dialga, block him. Palkia immediately tore a rift in the air, and Ash jumped in without hesitation. The legendary Palkia and Dialga, Xihen's move shocked all the gym leaders. Roar, Dialga immediately pounced, blocking the boulder, which was even larger than Dialga. Time Roar, Xihen waved his hand, and Dialga launched an attack. Time Roar struck the boulder, which tried to move forward but couldn't withstand the Time Roar. The boulder slowly came to a stop. Stopped. Although it stopped, the boulder continued to move forward unharmed after Dialga's Time Roar stopped. Dialga couldn't maintain Time Roar forever. Regigigas, Hyper Beam. Dialga, Roar of Time, Xihen pulled out another Pokeball, and Regigigas joined the battle. Elaine also stepped into the passage leading into the giant rock's interior. Chapter 408 The Destroyed Boulder. Ash and Elaine successfully rescued Chespin from the boulder, which finally came to a slow stop. It stopped. The gym leaders and champions breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing the boulder finally stop. As expected, Xihen is much stronger than before, Stephen remarked, looking at Xihen's 3 legendary Pokemon. When they first encountered Xihen, he was no match for him. It's finally over. Let's smash it to pieces, Xihen scratched his head and said to Yveltal and Regigigas. Just as they were about to launch their attack, the boulder suddenly moved again. Ho-ha! A head popped out from the boulder and began to laugh wildly. When he fully emerged, everyone realized that it was Ladradary. When did this guy get up there? How come no one noticed? There's not much time left. The countdown to the world's destruction won't stop. Even if I have to risk my life, I will destroy this world. Ladradary's eyes were sharp as he looked at Xihen. Siddhartha, you're really something. Ash clenched his fists, staring intently at Siddhartha. No one can stop the countdown to destruction. Siddhartha raised the machine in his hand, and a powerful ray shot out from the center of the giant rock. Xihen silently stood in front of everyone, extending his right hand. A green barrier appeared around them, and Xihen used Protect to block the powerful ray. Siddhartha, are you pretending you don't exist? Xihen raised his head, his gaze sharp as he looked at Siddhartha. Don't blame me if you die. Xihen pulled out 4 Ultra Balls and threw them out. Groudon, Kyurem, Kiratina, and Lugia jumped out of the Ultra Balls, and Rayquaza also suddenly flew out of Xihen's body, hovering in the air. In an instant, the giant rock and Lidra were surrounded by Groudon, Kyurem, Chalatina, Lugia, Yveltal, Regigigas, and Rayquaza. A rift seemed to open in the sky, and a bolt of lightning struck down, inspiring fear. Destroy it, Xihen said calmly, withdrawing his hand. The legendary Pokemon simultaneously unleashed their strongest moves, and a massive Rayquaza-shaped fire dragon charged towards the giant rock. It was Rayquaza's finishing touch that had brought it to life. This is, Lasadary's legs went weak. He never dreamed that Xihen possessed such power. Knowing that the fire dragon had struck the boulder, and the boulder began to crumble, and Lasadary was about to dissipate as well, he uttered his last words. So, all of this was just a joke. The gym leaders were stunned. Team Rocket was stunned too. The cameras were still recording, everything Xihen had done was captured. The world witnessed Xihen's power once again. Weren't Master Xihen's legendary Pokémon taken away by the legendary Arceus? Back in Desert City, Master Xihen captured many legendary Pokémon? So amazing. After witnessing Xihen's power, everyone was incredibly shocked and began discussing Xihen's affairs. In no time, all the big and small things that had happened to Xihen were once again spread. Xihen, however, acted as if nothing had happened, recalling his legendary Pokémon. If it weren't for Chespin inside the giant rock, I would have already blasted you away. After Xihen recalled his Pokémon, the sky was no longer a blood-red color. Oh woo! At this moment, Xihen and the others heard a sound, and a blue Pokémon came running rapidly from the distant hillside. Suicune. Xihen looked over and saw Suicune running towards him at high speed. In a moment, Suicune arrived in front of Xihen and jumped into his arms. Suicune, it's been so long. Suicune affectionately rubbed against Xihen's cheek, expressing its longing for him. So you saw the commotion here and came running over. Suicune was nearby and saw the commotion, so it ran over and unexpectedly found Xihen. Let's travel together again. As soon as Xihen finished speaking, Suicune ran into Xihen's Pokeball. Suicune's wings were larger than before, seemingly perfectly fused with Articuno. Not long after, dawn broke, and restoration work began in Lumiose City. Pachira, who had previously assisted Lysander, went to Officer Jenny to turn herself in. Due to the restoration of Lumiose City and Pachira's imprisonment, Xihen's Elite Four challenge was put on hold. Xihen and his friends returned home to their newly purchased villa, where they met Cynthia and Leland. Meowth had evolved into Psychic Meowth. Ash and his friends stayed at the Lumiose Gym in Lumiose City to help Hitler restore it. Xihen placed the trophy alongside his previous ones. This was Xihen's third championship trophy. Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos. Scenes flashed before Xihen's eyes. He couldn't help but place his hand on his chest, feeling the scar there. It was the most serious injury he had ever suffered. It was a pity that he hadn't been able to catch Reshiram and Zekrom in the end. Xihen, you've taken down another league. Cynthia hugged Xihen from behind. Where are you going next? I don't know yet. Xihen smiled and took Cynthia's hand. I'll stay home and spend some time with you. I haven't spent enough time with you. Okay, Cynthia smiled sweetly. Following you, from Sinnoh to Unova, and from Unova to Kalos. Afterwards, the family sat down together for a meal, happily enjoying each other's company. Xihen held Yellen the whole time, and Yellen didn't object and seemed very happy to be held by Xihen. There was another person sitting at the table, Gadrea's father. He had finally kicked his drug addiction. Although he looked very haggard, he would recover after some time. Xihen, just as they were eating, the restaurant door was suddenly kicked open. It was Kamisli, who ran over and jumped into Xihen's arms. Little Kiku, why did you come here? Xihen hugged little Kiku and said to her. Everyone's here, why can't I? Kamisli kissed Xihen on the cheek. Now all of Xihen's women were here. He was in for a rough night. I called her. Everyone's here, Cynthia said with a smile, sitting next to Xihen. Gadrea's father smiled helplessly. Comparisons are infuriating. Chapter 409 Battle, Champion Karuno. After a long night of hard work, Xihen was exhausted when she woke up in the morning. Finally, her trip to Carlos was over. Xihen's only regret was not being able to fight Carlos's champion, Ms. Karuno. Xihen decided to go to the battle castle first to raise her rank to Grand Duke. That way, she could fight Karuno, since Karuno was also a Grand Duke of the battle castle. Although she could simply challenge Karuno to a duel, Xihen still wanted a proper battle with her. Currently, Carlos was missing one of its 4 Elite Four members, and they couldn't fill the gap anytime soon. When Xihen got up, it was already around 11 o'clock. Just as she got up, May ran in. You're awake? Yeah. Xihen rubbed her eyes and looked at May. May sat on the edge of the bed, smiling broadly. Let me tell you, I'm going to apply to become one of the 4 Heavenly Kings of Kalos. Eh? You're going to become one of the 4 Heavenly Kings of Kalos? Yeah, actually, it was the Kalos Alliance that contacted me, hoping I'd become one of the 4 Heavenly Kings. May nodded. This morning, the villa received a letter from the Kalos Alliance. After opening it, she learned that the Kalos Alliance recognized May's strength and hoped she could become one of the 4 Heavenly Kings, replacing Pachira. But if I become one of the 4 Heavenly Kings, I can't continue traveling with you, May said hesitantly. Since you've already said you've decided to go, then go ahead, Xihen patted May's head. Perhaps it was a good thing she chose this path. I'll go this afternoon then. Get up and eat. Oh, right, Xianjor has already left. Did she go home? Yes, she said she had a performance today, so she went back first. Okay, I understand. After that, Xihen got up to wash up. After eating, Gadria also went home with her father first, and May went to the Kalos League. Only Xihen, Cynthia, Yellen, and the nanny were left at home. Yesterday's lively atmosphere suddenly became a bit quiet. Xihen watched Cynthia play with Yellen. Meow followed Yellen around, playing with her. Cynthia followed along too. Sometimes they went to the entertainment room to play, and sometimes they went to the backyard to play with a Pokémon. After that, Xihen went to the battle castle to upgrade her rank. She only needed one more rank to reach Grand Duke. The day passed just like that. When Xihen returned in the evening, May had already returned. May had successfully become one of the 4 heavenly kings of Carlos and was beginning to carry out the missions assigned to her by the Carlos Alliance. These past few days, Xihen had frequently visited the battle castle, finally raising his rank to Grand Duke. He had also invited Karuno over. Today, Xihen and Karuno's duel would begin. Xihen and Karuno were already standing on the battle castle's arena, both wearing cloaks, facing each other. The battle castle was packed with spectators. The news that the 2 champions would be fighting here spread quickly. The owner of the battle castle had also made a considerable amount of money from ticket sales through this duel, and cameras were everywhere. I was thinking that since I couldn't fight you at the main venue, I wanted to fight you here, but I didn't expect so many people to come, Xihen said with a helpless smile. The news travels fast, it hasn't been long, and so many people have already arrived. Karuno also smiled helplessly. But even if they wanted to come in now, they wouldn't be able to. The area was already packed with people. There was no way to squeeze in. Let's start quickly. I can't wait any longer. Diantha had already taken out her Pokeball. Normally, the battle rules at Battle Castle were 1-on-1, but now it was changed to 6-on-6, otherwise, all the spectators would have come for nothing. Okay, Yuki also took out her Pokeball. The battle between Kalos champion Diantha and Sinnoh champion Yuki begins. The rules are 6-on-6, both sides can switch Pokemon until one side's Pokemon are all unable to battle. A maid from Battle Castle came out and acted as the referee. The battle began. Go, Weavile, go, Battlebird. Yuki's first Pokemon was Weavile, while Diantha's first Pokemon was Battlebird. Weavile, Ice Beam. Yuki launched the first attack, Ice Beam striking Battlebird. Battlebird, fly away. Corona's Battlebird reacted quickly, dodging Manuela's attack with incredible speed and launching an attack on Yuki's Manuela using a spinning attack. Jump away, use Ice Beam on the ground. Yuki's reaction was also quick, jumping to dodge the second part of the spinning attack, then using Ice Beam on the ground, freezing the entire ground into an ice field. Manuela's speed on the field increased dramatically, making it difficult for Battlebird to stay on its feet. Fortunately, Battlebird still had wings, but Yuki only used them to increase Manuela's movement speed. Manuela, charge in and use Street Slash. Manuela's movement speed on the ice surface indeed increased rapidly. Before Battlebird could even take flight, it was knocked back by Manuela's Street Slash. Dark Pulse. After the Street Slash ended, Manuela performed 2 consecutive backflips and used Dark Pulse to hit Battlebird, putting Corona at a disadvantage for a moment. Wow, that's impressive, Diantha smiled. It had been a long time since she fought so seriously. Isn't that your move? Chaclo said to Violet beside him. Manuela had created an ice field using the same method as Violet. Yeah, he just learned my fighting style. Violet and Chaclo were currently fighting the castle. Battlebird, flying Dashland. Diantha wisely chose aerial combat, since she couldn't keep up with his speed in ground combat. Dodge. Yuhan smiled confidently, and Manuela easily dodged Battlebird's flying Dashland, causing Battlebird to miss. Battlebird, flying Dashland. After being easily dodged, Diantha still used flying Dashland, which was dodged again by Battlebird, and a crack appeared on the ice surface. Everyone was puzzled. What was Diantha's intention? Even though it was always dodged, she still insisted on using flying Dashland. Battlebird, one more time, flying dash landing. After being dodged twice by flying dash landing, Diantha tried again, and it was dodged once more. But Battlebird's flying dash landing slammed into the ground, causing the entire ice surface to shatter, destroying the ice arena. Battle Bird, spin attack. With the ice arena destroyed, Diantha launched another attack, successfully hitting Manuela and sending her flying, suffering a significant loss. As expected of Miss Diantha, the moment the ice arena shattered, Yuki finally understood Diantha's intentions. Her flying dash landing wasn't meant to attack Manuela, but to destroy the ice surface. Chapter 410 simultaneously lost the ability to fight. Winula, Ice Beam. This time, Yuhan's Ice Beam struck Battlebird. Battlebird had used up too much stamina and couldn't dodge the attack. It was hit by the ice beam in its feet or frozen to the ground. Now, use Street Knife. Battlebird was immobilized and unable to dodge. Winula used a series of Street Knife attacks, relentlessly attacking Battlebird until it lost its ability to battle. Winula was also panting heavily. Battlebird is unable to battle. Winula wins. The maid referee excitedly announced the result. She's really good. Diantha smiled, recalled her Battlebird, and took out a second Pokeball. Come back and rest, Winula. Seeing that Winula was quite tired, Yuhan recalled it to rest. Go, Cygnus. Diantha took out her second Pokemon first, and Yuhan smiled and also took out a Pokeball. Go, Cygnus. A battle between two Cygnus. Who'll win? Seeing that it was two Cygnus, everyone was curious about whose Cygnus was stronger. Cygnus, use Rush. Diantha took the initiative to attack this time. Cygnus, will use Rush too. Both of them used Rush, starting their first clash. The two Cygnus collided, and for a moment, their strength was evenly matched. Use Dragon Tail, Diantha commanded again. Her Cygnus suddenly spun around, and its tail lashed out at Yuhan's Cygnus, giving it a big blow. Cygnus, don't worry, use Dragon Meteor, Yuhan said to Cygnus. Cygnus roared at the sky, and meteors began to fall from the sky, crashing down on Diantha's Cygnus. Monoglucus, use Dig. Diantha perfectly used Dig to dodge Yuki's Monster Shooting Star and then attacked Yuki's Monster Shooting Star with Dig. Monster Shooting Star is slow, so it wasn't fast enough to dodge Monster Shooting Star. Diantha cleverly used Dig to dodge Monster Shooting Star and even injured Yuki's Monster Shooting Star. As expected of Miss Diantha, Yuki pouted. It had been a long time since he had fought a champion, and he was still a little overwhelmed. Actually, Diantha was thinking the same thing. Monoglucus, use Dragon Tail. Diantha had gained the upper hand and started attacking again, using Dragon Stomach on Yuki's Monster Shooting Star. Grab his tail with Dragon Claw and throw him to the ground. Yuki, imitating Ash, had a sudden idea and had Monster Shooting Star use Dragon Claw to grab the incoming Dragon Tail. He successfully grabbed Diantha's Monster Shooting Star by the tail and slammed it hard to the ground. Super Impact. Unexpectedly, Diantha commanded the use of Super Impact at this moment. The Cygnus got up and used Super Impact on Yuhan's Cygnus, knocking it away and sending it crashing into the deep pool next to the battle arena. As a rock type, the Cygnus couldn't withstand the impact and immediately lost its ability to battle. Come back, thanks for your hard work. Yuhan shook his head helplessly and recalled the Cygnus. There was no other way. Rock types are easily KO'd by water, let alone after being hit by Super Impact and falling into the water. Weanle, Ice Beam. Yuhan immediately threw out a Pokeball, and Weanle jumped out and used Ice Beam. It was very fast, and the Cygnus didn't have time to dodge and was hit by the Ice Beam. Ice-type moves also deal significant damage to Dragon-type Cygnus. However, Tyranitar quickly broke free from the ice. Although it was badly injured, it wasn't about to collapse. Winura, use Blizzard. Tyranitar, use Mega Impact. Diantha was going to take Winura down with her. Winura had already exhausted a lot of stamina in the previous battle, and using Blizzard wouldn't be enough to dodge Tyranitar's Mega Impact. But Tyranitar would be stunned after using Mega Impact and would be hit by Blizzard. In fact, that's exactly what happened. Both Pokemon were unable to battle at the same time. Winura and Tyranitar are both unable to battle. The maid referee announced the result. In this way, both of them lost 2 Pokemon each, leaving them with only 4 Pokemon each. Master Yuhan. Master Yuhan, Dartane. Diantha. The enthusiasm of the audience was completely ignited. The battle between the two champions was indeed extraordinary. There were also many viewers in front of the television. Basically, the whole country was watching this battle. What did it matter if it was a battle against a castle or a noble title? None of that mattered anymore. Come on, go on, Gym of Death. Go on, Ice Dragon. Xihen's third Pokémon was Gem of Death, while Diantha's third Pokémon was Ice Dragon. Ice Dragon, an ice-filled Pokémon, rock and ice type, possesses the power to release -150°C cold air from its diamond-shaped crystals, freezing enemies. In battle, it not only attacks its opponent but can also instantly create an ice wall to defend against attacks. Xihen first checked Ice Dragon's information in the Pokédex, then prepared to begin the battle. Gem of Death, Shadow Ball. Xihen launched the first attack. The pure white Gem of Death turned black, and a Shadow Ball with double the power attacked Ice Dragon. Ice Dragon was already enormous, and with a massive Shadow Ball at twice the power, it couldn't dodge at all. Hit by the Shadow Ball, it suffered considerable damage. Ice Dragon, use Freezing Wind. Karino launched a counterattack. She'd seen this Death God Pavilion before in the Unova League matches. She knew its abilities and color-changing properties, so she wasn't surprised. The Ice Dragon unleashed a Freezing Wind, which didn't harm the Death God Pavilion much, but created an environment it preferred. If the Ice Dragon stayed away from the ice field for too long, it would gradually weaken, becoming weaker the longer it was away. Use Freezing Ray. After creating the environment the Ice Dragon preferred, Karino attacked, sending a Freezing Ray at the Death God Pavilion. Use Protect, then vanish into thin air. Xihen gave the command. The Death God Pavilion used Protect to block the Freezing Ray and then disappeared into thin air, preventing the Ice Dragon from finding its target and continuing its attack. However, Karino wasn't an ordinary person and wouldn't sit idly by. Ice Dragon, use Blizzard. Karino commanded the Ice Dragon to use Blizzard for an area of effect attack. Although the Death God Pavilion withstood the attack and didn't reappear, it still took damage. Death God Pavilion, use Shadow Clone, then Energy Ball. As Xihen prepared to attack, over a dozen green figures from Death God Pavilion appeared in the air, simultaneously unleashing energy balls. The massive energy balls all struck the Ice Dragon. So far in the battle with their third Pokémon, Death God Pavilion had only suffered minor damage from the blizzard, while the Ice Dragon situation was far from optimistic. Chapter 411 Karino at a disadvantage. Press the attack. Death God Pavilion, use Hyper Beam. Xihen pressed her advantage, unleashing a Hyper Beam with double the power, striking the Ice Dragon and dealing massive damage. Although Death God Pavilion was stunned, the Ice Dragon couldn't get up for a while. By the time the Ice Dragon recovered, Death God Pavilion's stun had ended. Come back, Ice Dragon. Since the Ice Dragon was no match for Xihen Death God Pavilion, Diantha decided to recall it and take out her fourth Pokémon. Go, Pumpkin Man. Diantha's fourth Pokémon was Pumpkin Man. Pumpkin Man, Pumpkin Pokémon, a ghost and grass-type Pokémon that wanders the streets on the night of the new moon, singing a chilling song. Anyone who hears this song will be cursed. It wraps its prey around its hair-like wrists, singing gleefully while watching its prey suffer. Pumpkin Man, Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball. Yuki also used Shadow Ball, a Shadow Ball with double the power, which collided with Pumpkin Man's Shadow Ball. Naturally, the Death God's Shadow Ball had the advantage, suppressing Pumpkin Man's Shadow Ball. Ice Dragon is no match for Death God's Pokémon, and Pumpkin Man is even less so. Miss Diantha. Yuki smiled kindly. It seems so. Diantha nodded helplessly. This Death God's Pokémon was really difficult to deal with. Death God's Pokémon was already difficult to deal with, but now it had double the power, making it even more troublesome. Tisk. Diantha curled her lip, quoting Gardevoir. Psychic-type Pokémon are also weak against the Gym Leader. This Gym Leader isn't low-level either. Unless Gardevoir Mega evolves, it can still deal with the Gym Leader, but that would expose its strength, giving Xihen a better strategy. Diantha thought to herself, Xihen's arrangement of this Gym Leader is truly impeccable. All three of her Pokémon are weak against the Gym Leader, leaving her with no other options. Dark Pulse. Only Dark-type Pokémon are effective against Ghost types, so she had no choice but to use Pumpkin's Dark-type move against the Gym Leader. Taking advantage of Xihen's carelessness, actually, his smugness, Dark Pulse hit the Gym Leader, damaging it. Disappear into the air. Xihen made the Gym Leader disappear into the air again, and Pumpkin couldn't find it for a moment. Pumpkin Monster. Use Destiny Bond. Karino was going to sacrifice the Pumpkin Monster to defeat the troublesome Death God Mansion, Xihen. Xihen had no intention of recalling the Pumpkin Monster. It would be too unfair, too shameless, to simply take it back. So, Master Xihen, what do you plan to do? Karino smiled smugly. though inwardly she was quite unsettled. When would someone force her to use Destiny Bond? Then let's perish together. Death God Mansion, use Hyper Beam. Xihen waved his hand, ordering the Death God Mansion to use Hyper Beam. The Hyper Beam struck the pumpkin monster from behind, hitting its vital point, but not enough to incapacitate it. Diantha didn't give any commands, she was determined to take Xihen down with her. This was the best way, and she was certain Xihen wouldn't take back the gym after all. So many people were watching, it concerned a champion's dignity and reputation. If an ordinary trainer challenged Diantha, taking it back would be fine, but not Xihen. After the stun wore off, the gym automatically used Shadow Ball, taking Pumpkin Man down with it. This was the third Pokemon Xihen and Diantha had lost together. Now, Xihen only had 3 Pokemon left, with Diantha's Ice Dragon severely injured and lacking much fighting power. Go, Gudra. Diantha's 5th Pokemon was Gudra, also a pseudo-legendary Pokemon. Go, Blaziken. To deal with Diantha, Xihen had put a lot of thought into preparing her Pokemon. The first was Weavile, designed to create an ice terrain to counter Diantha's agile Battlebird. Knowing Diantha had a Cygnus, Xihen specifically brought a Cygnus. The third Pokemon she brought was intended to force out Diantha's Gardevoir and deplete its stamina. However, Diantha saw through her plan and used Pumpkin to take down both Diantha and the gym leader. Fortunately, it severely injured Diantha's Ice Giant, allowing her to defeat Pumpkin, so it wasn't a complete loss. Gudra, use Rain Dance. Diantha had Gudra use Rain Dance first, increasing the power of her Water-type moves and reducing the power of Xihen's Blaziken's Fire-type moves. Blaziken, Close Combat. Xihen sent Blaziken forward to attack Gudra with Close Combat. Use Water Tail. Just as Blaziken was about to close in, Gudra turned and used Water Tail. Luckily, Blaziken reacted quickly and dodged the attack. After flipping over, it successfully used a close-range attack on Gudra, dealing damage. Gudra, use Muddy Water. Although it was damaged, Gudra quickly used the move, hitting the retreating Blaziken with Muddy Water. Blaziken's accuracy was lowered by Muddy Water, but it didn't make much difference. However, due to Rain Dance, it dealt a significant amount of damage to Blaziken. Blaziken, Flamethrower. Although the Fire-type move was weakened, it could still cause trouble for Gudra. Gudra, Dodge. Diantha told Gudra to dodge Blaziken's Flamethrower. Gudra dodged the Flamethrower, and when it looked up, Blaziken had Mega Evolved and appeared in front of Gudra. It delivered a flying knee to Gudra's face, making Gudra roll on the ground. Such speed, even Diantha was surprised by Blaziken's speed. In fact, Gudra's battle experience was far less than Blaziken's. She hadn't faced a challenge in a long time and usually only used Gardevoir. But Xihen was different. After so many league competitions and such a long journey, Blaziken had constantly battled in gyms, giving it more battle experience than Gudra. Plus, with Mega Evolution, Gudra was no match for Blaziken. Blaziken, Smoke Blitz. Blaziken was already fast, and Xihen had it use Smoke Blitz to further increase its speed. Smoke Blitz even injured Gudra. It seems that besides your Gardevoir, your other Pokemon are lacking in training. Diantha-san, the only Pokemon that had defeated her were Cygnus and Pumpkinman, which used Destiny Bond to take her down with it. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 412 Special Flash Ability. Looks like that too. Diantha smiled, seemingly unconcerned that her Pokemon had been taken advantage of. And Blaziken looked quite tired? It hadn't used many moves, so why was Blaziken so exhausted? Blaziken, Flame Kick. Seeing his condition, Xihen didn't think much of it and let Blaziken continue attacking. Blaziken charged forward and used Flame Kick with incredible speed. Use Ninja. This time, Diantha had Gudra use Ninja to endure Blaziken's attack. Give him the attack back. Having just endured a damage, it immediately launched an attack. Ninja's attack hit Blaziken, causing it to stagger back a few steps. It wasn't seriously injured, but Blaziken's stamina seemed to be depleting even more. When did Blaziken's stamina deplete so quickly? Gudra, Dragon Pulse. Diantha's smile became even more smug. Gudra used Dragon Pulse. Blaziken tried to dodge but couldn't. After being hit by Dragon Pulse, it knelt on the ground, panting, and could no longer maintain its Mega Evolution form. Blaziken. What's going on? Xihen finally realized something was wrong and quickly asked Blaziken. I can't breathe. Blaziken gasped for air, but found that there seemed to be no air around it. You should have noticed by now, my Gudra, Diantha said to Xihen with a smile. Xihen frowned, remembering Ash's Gudra, took out his Pokédex, and after looking at the data, he carefully compared them and finally found the difference. Diantha's Gudra was a lighter color than the ordinary Gudra, and it was actually a shiny Pokémon. That's right, my Gudra is a shiny Pokémon, and its ability is oxygen deprivation. Oxygen deprivation means that it will slowly absorb oxygen from the battlefield. The longer the battle lasts, the more oxygen it absorbs. Your Blaziken is doomed to lose. Seeing Xihen's expression, Diantha knew that he understood, so she explained to him. I see. Xihen put away the Pokédex, her expression turning serious. This meant that the longer this Gudra stayed on the field, the thinner the air became. Eventually, as soon as Xihen's Pokémon entered the battle, it would collapse. It was indeed a big problem. There was no information about this Gudra before. Come back, Blaziken, Xihen recalled Blaziken. In this situation, Blaziken was helpless. To overcome Gudra's oxygen deprivation, the only option was to KO it in one move. The only one capable of doing that was Camo. Use Giga Impact. Xihen took out Camo's Pokéball and threw it. Camo jumped out and immediately used Giga Impact. Although the speed was slower due to the oxygen deprivation, it still hit Gudra, knocking it into the pool. Camo then used Hyper Beam to sweep across the pool until it felt its breathing return to normal before stopping its attack. The smooth breathing meant Gudra was incapacitated. Sure enough, Gudra was unable to battle after surfacing. This is indeed stronger. Diantha looked at the Grim Reaper like Garchomp. Was this even a Pokémon? Based on its performance just now, Gardevoir wouldn't be a match for it. Actually, I just wanted to compete with Diantha's Gardevoir and see whose Gardevoir is the best in the world. Xihen recalled Camo and took out Gardevoir's Pokéball. Alright, then I'll compete with your Gardevoir. Diantha smiled with relief. She was sure she would lose this time. Putting aside the Garchomp, the incredibly fast Blaziken alone, and Xihen's Gardevoir were already beyond the capabilities of her Gardevoir and the heavily injured Ice Dragon. Go, Gardevoir, go, Gardevoir, Mega Evolution. The two of them took out their Gardevoirs and simultaneously Mega Evolved them. The two Gardevoirs faced off, neither making the first move. This is the battle for the strongest Gardevoir, isn't it? The people around them began to whisper, eagerly anticipating the battle. Before, Xihen challenged Cynthia and won the Sinnoh Champion title and the title of the strongest Garchomp, as well as the title of the strongest Infernape from Elite Four member Dale. Chaclo chatted with Violet. Yet, he also tried to steal the title of the strongest Dracovish from Elite Four member Aruji, but he failed. I was hoping he would try again, Violet said with a little disappointment. After all, she was also the gym leader of the Bug-type gym and was really looking forward to Xihen battling Aruji again. Gardevoir, Energy Ball. Diantha attacked first, her Gardevoir using Energy Ball. Protect, then use Psychic Slash. Xihen had Gardevoir use Protect to block the Energy Ball, then Gardevoir used Psychic Slash, a white light slashing towards Diantha's Gardevoir. Diantha's Gardevoir also used Protect to block Psychic Slash. After Protect ended, Diantha's Gardevoir found that all four of her Gardevoirs were immobilized, controlled by Xihen's Gardevoir. Diantha's Gardevoir reacted quickly, also using Psychic Slash to control Xihen's Gardevoir. For a moment, neither could gain the upper hand, and the two Gardevoirs' psychic power was constantly being depleted. Use Energy Ball. The two tacitly agreed and simultaneously had Gardevoirs use Energy Ball. This kind of Psychic Slash was pointless. Not only was the battle pointless, but it was also pointless for the audience to watch. The two energy spheres collided and reached a stalemate, proving that Diantha's Gardevoir was also of a very high level, at least on par with Xihen's Gardevoir. Teleport. Xihen had Gardevoir use Teleport, and Gardevoir used Shadow Clone during the teleportation. A dozen Gardevoirs moved continuously in the air, and Diantha's Gardevoir had no chance to find the real Gardevoir. Moon Attack. Xihen launched his attack. The dozen or so Gardevoirs in the air simultaneously stopped moving, raising their arms above their heads. A flash of light filled the air, almost blinding everyone. Moon Attack struck Diantha's Gardevoir, but the Gardevoir vanished into thin air. It was a substitute. Just as Xihen's Gardevoir was about to attack, Diantha used telepathy to have her Gardevoir use a substitute, successfully dodging the attack. However, using a substitute skill also consumes the user's stamina. Xihen's Gardevoir frowned. Its position had just been exposed. It quickly started teleporting again, and more than a dozen shadow clones flashed in the air. Diantha's Gardevoir lost its target again. However, doing this was very exhausting for Xihen's Gardevoir. Chapter 413, Battle ends. Xihen wins. Gardevoir, use Psychic. Xihen used telepathy with Gardevoir. Gardevoir suddenly grabbed Diantha's Gardevoir and slammed her to the ground. This was their only chance to strike. Xihen's Gardevoir also stopped instant transmission, and its shadow clone Jutsu disappeared. Gardevoir landed back on the ground, panting heavily. Its stamina was severely depleted. After catching its breath, Gardevoir was controlled and floated up before slamming heavily to the ground. This was Diantha's Gardevoir's counterattack. In the battle between Gardevoirs, the trainers did not speak. They issued commands entirely through telepathy. This was the highest level of battle between Gardevoirs. Neither trainer knew what move the other would use. The battle relied entirely on combat experience. After getting up, Xihen's Gardevoir attacked Diantha's Gardevoir with an energy ball. Diantha's Gardevoir tried to block the energy ball with Protect, but it failed and hit Diantha's Gardevoir. Xihen pressed his advantage, and Gardevoir used Psychic Slash, hitting Diantha's Gardevoir again. Diantha was once again at a disadvantage, and her Gardevoir suffered considerable damage, but it was still able to stand up. Then, Diantha's Gardevoir used Shadow Clone, and together they pounced towards Xihen's Gardevoir. When they were very close to Xihen's Gardevoir, they used Psychic to grab Xihen's Gardevoir. Xihen immediately locked onto Diantha's Gardevoir's true location, and Gardevoir used Psychic to grab Diantha's Gardevoir in the same way. Diantha's Gardevoir was grabbed, and the Shadow Clone disappeared. The two Gardevoirs faced each other, very close, and were locked in a stalemate. Ms. Diantha's Gardevoir is indeed very strong. At this moment, Xihen spoke first. Master Xihen's Gardevoir is also very strong. The two praised each other. Actually, at this moment, Xihen's Gardevoir still had the upper hand. Although the one with the best stamina had more, Diantha's Gardevoir had taken more damage. If Diantha's Gardevoir were to be attacked again, she would probably not be able to hold on. Xihen will win, right? May and Cynthia watch their battle on TV. Of course she will win, Cynthia smiled. They were talking about the victory between the Gardevoirs. Xihen's Gardevoir would win. Xihen's victory trend was already very obvious. When they fight, they use telepathy to control their Pokémon. Psychic battles are really boring, May said with a smirk. This is the highest level of psychic battles. Cynthia laughed and watched the two Gardevoirs locked in a stalemate on TV. Go for it, Xihen. Gadrea was also watching TV at home, cheering for Xihen. As the Elite Four member of the Psychic type, Gadrea could naturally see that Xihen was about to win, and she couldn't help but cheer for him in her heart. It's time to end this, Gardevoir, use Psychic. What? Hearing this, Diantha was stunned. She didn't expect Xihen to have his Gardevoir use Psychic. Psychic would make the opponent float in the air for 3 rounds, making it difficult to avoid being hit. If it were a normal Gardevoir, it wouldn't matter, but now her Gardevoir was seriously injured and had no way to resist. Using psychic power to resist mental interference was the maximum she could do. Xihen's Gardevoir used Psychic, breaking Diantha's Gardevoir's psychic power and forcing her Gardevoir to float in the air, unable to move. Hyper Beam, Gardevoir is unable to battle. Master Xihen's Gardevoir wins. Xihen's Gardevoir's Hyper Beam hit Diantha's Gardevoir perfectly, and Gardevoir was unable to battle on the spot. I still lost, Diantha smiled helplessly and recalled Gardevoir. Gladiator was also seriously injured. There was no point in continuing. I lost, Master Xihen. Master Xihen won. Master Xihen, you're the best. Everyone around shouted Xihen's name, cheering for his victory. This was the second champion Xihen had defeated. The first was Cynthia. He had fought Steven to a draw, and Steven hadn't seemed to be using his full strength then, since Xihen hadn't participated in the Sinnoh League yet. As for the Unova League, although Xihen defeated the Unova Elite Four, he couldn't fight Alder due to the incident with Haneda, which was a regret. However, since he had challenged the Elite Four, he could challenge Alder at any time. But like his challenge against Diantha, Xihen would have to have a formal battle with Alder. If you include Wallace, the champion of the Pokémon contest, then Xihen had won against 3 champions. After the battle, Xihen and Diantha were inevitably surrounded by reporters again. Finally, after giving them satisfactory answers, they squeezed out, exchanged smiles, and indicated they were used to it. It was already afternoon dinner time. After leaving their Pokémon at the nearest town to the Battle Castle in Leisure City, Xihen took Diantha to eat. The storm hadn't died down yet, so they dressed up before going to the restaurant. During dinner, they chatted. "Where are you going to travel after you get released?" Diantha asked Xihen. "Maybe, I don't know where yet." Xihen paused for a moment, then smiled. It had been almost 3 years since he started traveling. "I'm so envious of you, being able to travel everywhere." Diantha looked envious, seemingly longing for the days of traveling. "Then why don't you go on a trip too? It's not that easy. The League has missions all the time, and I'm an actor myself. I only got to steal a day off today thanks to you, is that so? The Sinnoh League doesn't have much for me to do. The latest mission is something about someone stealing megastones, and I have to investigate, but I still haven't found anything." The Sinnoh League usually delegates everything to Cynthia. What Cynthia can do, Cynthia does. What she can't do, she delegates to Xihen. For example, investigating this matter is a long-term mission, and Cynthia also has to take care of Xiaoyuan, so it's been handed over to Xihen. "With you, Master Xihen, protecting Sinnoh, who dares to cause trouble in Sinnoh? Wasn't there some Team Galactic before? Didn't you drive them all away?" Diantha joked. "Haha, that was so long ago." "That was indeed a long time ago. Now, Sinnoh, let alone any team, you can't even find a Pokémon hunter. After all, it's Xihen and Cynthia's territory. So, have you decided where you're going next?" I don't know." Chapter 414 Arrival in the Kanto region. You've decided to go to Kanto. It's been a month since Xihen's next trip, and Cynthia is helping her pack. "Yes, I heard the Kanto champion is really strong. I'm going to check it out." This time, Xihen only brought Fennekin and Camo. Fennekin still needs training. She's the weakest of all her Pokémon. "By the way, I heard Ash won a travel ticket to Alola and is going on a trip there. Let him go." "Looks like we won't be meeting him in this league." Xihen pouted a little regretfully. Ash's strength has indeed increased with each game. "Here you go, everything's packed." Cynthia tossed her a shoulder bag, which Xihen slung over her shoulder, then draped a black cape over it to cover the bag, and added a waist pouch containing Pokeballs and some small items. "Then I'll be going." Xihen hugged Cynthia. "May has to deal with things in Kalos, so she can't travel with you. Be careful." "Alright, I'm not a child." Xihen smiled, released Cynthia, and Gardevoir, standing to the side, underwent Mega Evolution, preparing to teleport with Xihen. "By the way, Yuzuru and the others are still in Kalos. If anything happens, have Gardevoir come to me immediately." For the past month, Yuzuru and the others haven't made any moves, and Xihen had almost forgotten about them. She wondered why they had suddenly become so obedient. "Okay, I know. Go ahead, there are still many legendary Pokémon left in the backyard. Even if they dare to come, they can't do anything to Cynthia and the others." "Okay," Xihen nodded, and Gardevoir teleported with Xihen to Pallet Town in the Kanto region. "Alright, Gardevoir, let's go back." Xihen patted Gardevoir's head, and Gardevoir happily rubbed against Xihen's hand before heading back. Xihen was now standing at the entrance of Professor Oak's lab. He rang the doorbell. "Who is it?" a voice answered. "I'm here to see Professor Oak." Wait a moment." The person thought for a moment, then fell silent. After a short pause, a voice came through. "Come in." The door opened. It seemed to be a switch-controlled door. Xihen went inside and closed the door behind him. He climbed the stairs to the lab. Professor Oak's lab was quite large. Xihen saw many Pokémon along the way. There were so many in the front yard alone, there must be even more in the backyard. After climbing the stairs, Xihen came to a villa. He knocked on the villa's door, which opened quickly. It was Professor Oak's assistant, Xiaojian. "Master Xi." "Master Xihen." Xiaojian's eyes widened when he saw Xihen. He hadn't expected to have the honor of meeting Master Xihen. Xihen sighed helplessly. "Another troublesome fellow. Is Professor Oak here?" Yes, he's doing research." "Come with me." Xiaojian quickly led Xihen in, closed the villa door, and led Xihen to Professor Oak's research room. Xihen saw Professor Oak working diligently as soon as he entered. "Xiaojian, could you get Ash's Noivern for me?" Professor Oak knew someone had come in, assuming it was only Xiaojian, so he asked him to get Ash's Pokeball. "Professor, we have a guest." Xihen walked to Professor Oak's side and said to him. Professor Oak then looked up. "Oh, Xihen, what brings you here?" He hadn't paid attention when Xihen mentioned someone was coming, but now that he saw it was Xihen, he was overjoyed. He had been looking forward to Xihen's visit to the Kanto region for a long time. "I'm traveling in the Kanto region, so I came to visit you first, Professor." Professor Oak led Xihen to the living room, where the two sat down and chatted. Xihen prepared tea for them. The two chatted about trivial matters. Xihen mentioned that the Pokemon he caught in the Kanto region would be entrusted to Professor Oak, and after obtaining Squirtle from him, he left for his next gym, Viridian City. Xihen remembered Viridian City. It was Team Rocket's headquarters, and their leader, Giovanni, was based there. However, Team Rocket had since left due to Mewtwo, and Agatha Christie, one of the Elite Four, was now temporarily serving as the Viridian City gym leader. Pallet Town was quite far from Viridian City. Walking there would take at least 3 days. Ash had encountered a flock of Spearow attacking him there, met Misty, and stolen her bicycle to take him to Viridian City, which led to Misty becoming a major problem and following him on his journey. The forest was full of Pokemon like Spearow, Pidgeot, and the like, but Xihen wasn't particularly interested. After all, he already had Pidgeot and Finch, and he was even less interested in Caterpie. As night fell, Xihen pitched a tent in the forest to rest. The tent, naturally, was inside Fennekin's Pokeball. When Xihen released her to retrieve the tent, Fennekin looked at him with disdain. When Xihen took the tent and then put her back, Fennekin's expression became even more amusing. Currently, Squirtle is the weakest member of the team. When encountering wild Pokemon on the road, Squirtle, under Xihen's command, could only defeat 2 wild Pokemon in a row before running out of energy and needing to recover before continuing to fight. Fortunately, its level is slowly increasing. It needs gradual training. Late at night, Xihen went to sleep, and Camo didn't train anymore. His strength had reached its limit. He had reached his limit and could no longer improve. Early the next morning, Xihen packed his things, ate some food, and continued on his journey. Squirtle continued to lead the way. Its strength improved from the day before. When Squirtle couldn't keep up, Fennekin would take over. After the battle in the Kalos League, Fennekin was close to evolving. It would likely evolve into Fennekin after the battle at the Viridian Gym. Although Xihen had learned some cooking skills from May and Katla, he was too lazy to cook and just ate dry rations. Fortunately, the journey wasn't too long, and the rations weren't too dry, so they were relatively palatable. The Pokemon also had their own food. With just 1 day's journey, they would reach Viridian City. Xihen was also looking forward to meeting the Kanto Elite Four, including Kiku, and having a good battle with her. It was late at night, so Xihen prepared to rest. Traveling alone was really boring, but it seemed that Yadria was also busy and couldn't come to accompany Xihen. Kamisley also needed to take care of the gym and couldn't travel with Xihen either. Xihen shook his head helplessly and went to sleep. Chapter 415 Battle, Takuwa Dojo. After another day of travel, Xihen finally arrived in Viridian City in the evening. It was already late at night, and the Viridian Gym was closed, so Xihen found a hotel to rest, preparing to challenge the Viridian Gym again the next day. Team Rocket seemed to have vanished without a trace. There was no news or sign of them in Viridian City, and no one knew where they had gone. It was rumored they had gone to Kanto. Early the next morning, Xihen went to the Pokemon Center to register for the Kanto League, startling Nurse Joy. Not because she saw Xihen, but because... Mr. Xihen, the Kanto League starts in less than a week. Are you only registering now? Nurse Joy said anxiously for Xihen. Xihen paused, raising an eyebrow. This was a bit of a problem. It wasn't a time issue. With Gardevoir, defeating 2 gyms a day wouldn't be a problem. The problem was that there was no time to catch Pokemon, and no time to train Squirtle. It's alright, I can keep up. Xihen smiled at Nurse Joy, captivating her. Then, Xihen went to the computer, downloaded a few Pokemon, and headed to the Viridian Gym. The Viridian Gym was huge. A grand gate led to a dark, deserted area. The battle arena was right inside the gate. After a moment of silence, Xihen punched a ghastly, passing right through its face and grabbing its tongue. This guy had been beside him since he entered, thinking he couldn't see him, and was making faces. Xihen couldn't take it anymore, and finally got his revenge. Oh dear, a formidable challenger has arrived. Gym leader Agatha finally appeared on the platform, looking down at Xihen. Then, she leaped down, and two Jengar emerged from the ground, grabbing Agatha and landing safely. Long time no see, Master Agatha. Xihen released a ghastly's tongue, and the creature immediately fled. I've heard so much about you, Master Xihen. Akiko gave a half smile, and the lights in the entire gym came on, instantly illuminating the space. Xihen could finally see Akiko's full appearance. This girl, she's practically an ancient demon, and Xihen had also heard that Akiko, one of the Elite Four, was cunning, treacherous, ruthless, and seemed incredibly difficult to deal with. Although I'm here to challenge the gym, I would like to ask Master Akiko to fight me with all your might, Xihen said, looking at Akiko with deliberate emphasis. Oh? I was just thinking the same thing, Akiko's referee said, handing her 6 Pokeballs and taking her place in the referee's area. Thank you, Xihen said, then walked to the other side of the arena. The battle between gym leader Akiko and challenger Xihen will now begin. Only the challenger may switch Pokemon. Battle begins, go, Fennekin. Xihen's first Pokemon was Fennekin, and he believed it would evolve into Fennekin in this battle. It's up to you, Zubat. Akiko's first Pokemon was Zubat, finally a Pokemon Xihen was familiar with, so he didn't need to pull out his Pokédex to check its status anymore. Zubat was also a relatively easy Pokemon to deal with. Fennekin, Flamethrower. Xihen launched the first attack, using Flamethrower on Zubat. Zubat was fast, but its wing was still injured by Fennekin. Zubat suffered an early setback and was slowed down considerably. Goblin, use Black Mist, then use Ultrasonic. Goblin spewed out Black Mist, interfering with Firefox's vision, but it didn't affect Goblin itself. It could use Ultrasonic to sense the location of its prey. Goblin located Firefox and used Ultrasonic on it, causing Firefox to enter a confused state. Firefox continued to attack itself. Only after the Black Mist dissipated did Xihen see the situation clearly. Firefox, wake up, Xihen hurriedly shouted at Firefox, but Firefox still didn't react. And she, Kikuko, was ruthless. Even though the opponent had already started attacking her, she still attacked Firefox. Goblin, wing attack. Firefox, dodge quickly. Despite Xihen's calls, it was useless. Firefox was hit by Goblin's wing attack, and its stamina was nearing its limit. As expected of Master Akiko, you turned a disadvantage into an advantage in an instant. You flatter me, but trying to stall for time won't work. Zubat, use Spectral Beam. Akiko saw through Xihen's intentions and then had Zubat use Spectral Beam, causing Fennekin to become confused once again, leaving it no chance to regain its senses. She's ruthless indeed. 2 moves that cause confusion are really troublesome. Fennekin, come back, helpless, Xihen recalled Fennekin. In this situation, even if Fennekin wanted to force itself to evolve, there was nothing it could do. Go, Infernape. To pay Akiko more, Xihen brought many powerful Pokemon. Fire Blast. Infernape attacked immediately upon appearing, not giving Zubat any chance to retaliate. Fire Blast hit Zubat, and then Infernape delivered a double kick to Zubat, sending it flying from the sky. Come back, Infernape. Go, Charizard. Use Fire Blast. Xihen recalled Infernape and brought out Charizard again. Charizard used Fire Blast to finish off the weakened Zubat. Zubat is unable to battle. Charizard wins. Akiko recalled Zubat with a grim face. When a Pokemon is in a confused state, recalling it and then releasing it again will remove the confusion. Xihen had even used the rule that he could switch Pokemon to let Charizard get its revenge. Just as Akiko was about to bring out her second Pokemon, Charizard emitted a white light and began to evolve. After the white light ended, the evolved Feraligatr appeared before them. Oh? It evolved? Akiko stopped throwing out her second Pokemon. Finally evolved. Let me see. Xihen took out her Pokédex and checked the information on Fiery Fox. Fiery Fox, the final evolution of Fennekin, a Fox-type Pokemon, Fire Psychic. By gazing at the flames on the tips of tree branches, it can enter a state of mental concentration to foresee future events. It uses its psychic powers to manipulate 3000 degrees Celsius flame vortexes to burn enemies trapped within them to ashes. Continue the battle, Fiery Fox. Xihen put away her Pokédex and smiled. Let me see your evolved power. Go, Ghastly. After Xihen finished reading the information, Akiko took out her second Pokemon, Ghastly, but it wasn't the Ghastly Xihen had encountered when she entered. Chapter 416. The air suddenly became quiet. Foxfire, Shadow Ball. Xihen launched another preemptive attack, sending Shadow Ball towards Ghastly, which dodged. Counterattack with Shadow Ball. Ghastly evaded Foxfire's attack and countered with Shadow Ball. Because Ghastly deliberately moved closer to Foxfire while dodging, this time Foxfire couldn't avoid the Shadow Ball and was hit. This Shadow Ball caused considerable damage to Foxfire, especially considering its Psychic-type attributes. Foxfire, don't panic. Use Shadow Clone, then Magical Flame. Foxfire regained its composure, using Shadow Clone to surround Ghastly, and then simultaneously unleashed Magical Flame from all 8 directions, hitting Ghastly and lowering its special attack. The Shadow Clone disappeared after using its magical flames, and Ghastly quickly launched a counterattack. Ghastly, use Hypnosis. Ghastly countered with Hypnosis, successfully putting Fennekin to sleep. Use Dream Eater. Hypnosis was followed by Dream Eater. Agatha's combo was truly tricky. Fennekin is unable to battle. Ghastly wins. Come back, Fennekin. This guy isn't anything special, Yuki thought. She'd have Greninja teach Fennekin his Shadow Clone technique later to enhance her battle abilities. It's up to you, Infernape. Xihen took out Infernape once again, more than enough to deal with Ghastly. Infernape, Smoke Charge. Infernape launched an attack, Smoke Charge towards Ghastly. Ghastly tried to dodge, but its speed was too slow for Infernape. Infernape easily hit Ghastly. If it weren't for the fact that its opponent was a Ghost-type Pokémon, Infernape would have taken the opportunity to launch another close-range attack. Use Hypnosis. Akiko wanted Ghastly to use Hypnosis again to put Infernape to sleep, but Yuki didn't give her the chance. Infernape, one more time, Smoke Charge. Infernape was already very close to Ghastly, and this time Smoke Charge arrived first, directly hitting Ghastly and interrupting its Hypnosis. Infernape, finished the battle with Flamethrower. Flamethrower hit Ghastly, who had just been hit by Smoke Charge and knocked away. The continuous attacks left Ghastly with no room to fight back, and it was defeated by Infernape. Ghastly is unable to battle. Infernape wins. This was only the second one to fall. Ghost-type Pokémon were indeed difficult to deal with, and it was quite a struggle to fight them. As expected of a champion-level Infernape, Akiko recalled the Ghastly that was unable to battle, took out her third Pokéball, and continued, "It's really not easy to deal with. Go, Jengar." Akiko then took out her Jengar. She didn't have a Mega Stone on her, so it seemed she wouldn't Mega Evolve. Infernape, continue. This Jengar was also handed over to Infernape. This time, Agatha's Jengar attacked first. Jengar, use Shadow Ball. Jengar used Shadow Ball to attack Infernape, but it missed. When Infernape looked up, Jengar was nowhere to be found. He must have burrowed underground or vanished into thin air. Infernape, use that move. Infernape knew exactly what move to use in this situation. Without Agatha telling it, Infernape knew what to do. Infernape jumped up and used Flamethrower. Agatha suddenly sensed something was wrong, but it was too late. After using Flamethrower, Infernape used Flamethrower, covering the entire arena in its spinning flames. Jengar had nowhere to hide and was hit by the flames. Even after revealing itself, Infernape didn't stop, continuing to damage Jengar. The referee had already stepped aside to avoid injuring him. "I never thought I'd have the chance to witness this move," Kikuko said with some emotion, watching the Infernape display its power on the field. In that competition, Xihen's Infernape had stolen the spotlight from Dai with this move, making Infernape famous overnight. After all, it was Xihen's first Pokémon besides Pidgeot. It couldn't have done it without some skill. Phew, after inflicting tons of damage on Jengar, Infernape finally stopped, exhausted. "Come back and rest, Infernape." Xihen's action immediately made Kikuko's face darken. "I was using the rules fairly, you know." Xihen put on an innocent look and shrugged. "Go on, Dusknoir. To deal with a Ghost-type Elite Four member, you naturally need a Ghost-type Pokémon, otherwise, it just wouldn't be as effective." Jengar, Hypnosis, Dusknoir, Dark Hole. Dusknoir used Dark Hole, and Jengar used Hypnosis. The two moves were activated simultaneously, and both Pokémon fell asleep. The scene was calm for a moment, without a sound. Ahem, Akiko coughed awkwardly twice and silently recalled Jengar. Xihen also raised an eyebrow and silently recalled Dusknoir as well. "Go, Jengar." Akiko's fourth Pokémon was also Jengar, but this time, it wore a Mega Evolution Stone around its neck. "Finally here," Xihen smiled, having been waiting for it. "Go, Jengar." Xihen also took out his own Jengar, which also wore a Mega Evolution Stone around its neck. Jengar, Mega Evolve, the two shouted at the same time, and Jengar Mega Evolved, beginning a standoff. Jengar, use Spectral Beam. Xihen attacked first, using Spectral Beam to confuse Akiko's Jengar, but it missed, and Akiko's Jengar countered with Dark Pulse. Fortunately, Xihen reacted quickly, having Jengar use Dark Pulse. The two Dark Pulses collided and cancelled each other out. Jengar, used Shadow Pulse after using Double Strike. Agatha's attack missed, so she started using tricks to attack Xihen's Jengar. Jengar, used Sucker Punch. Xihen's Jengar suddenly rushed out, appearing in front of Agatha's Jengar before it could use Double Strike. Several dark beams hit Agatha's Jengar, knocking it back several steps. Sucker Punch is a move that attacks the opponent before they can use a move. If it hits, it interrupts the opponent's move. Agatha's attack not only failed but she also suffered a loss, being injured by Xihen's Jengar. Dark-type moves still deal significant damage to Ghost-type Pokémon. However, after Sucker Punch hit Agatha's Jengar, it got up and used Double Strike again, then used Dark Pulse to hit Xihen's Jengar, getting its revenge. The two are currently evenly matched. Chapter 417 Unbreakable Defense. Jengar, use Taunt, then Dark Pulse. Agatha's confusion was causing her trouble. Using Taunt meant she could only use damaging moves for 3 turns. After using Taunt on Agatha's Jengar, she used Dark Pulse, which hit Agatha's Jengar. Jengar, Dark Pulse. Since she could only use attacking moves, Agatha attacked, using Dark Pulse. Protect. The first attack was blocked by Xihen's Jengar with Protect. Use Shadow Ball after Double Team. To prevent Agatha's Jengar from blocking her own Jengar's move, Xihen had Jengar use Double Team. Several Shadow Balls attacked Agatha's Jengar, who couldn't find its true form and was hit by the Shadow Balls. Jengar, used Toxic Sting. Agatha, having suffered a loss, wanted to use a Poison-type move to wear down Xihen's Jengar. Protect. Xihen continued to use Protect, but Jengar's Protect failed. However, with Xihen there, she helped Jengar use Protect to block Toxic Sting. It's over, Jengar. Use Sucker Punch after Dark Pulse. Xihen's lips curled slightly. Jengar used Dark Pulse, hitting Agatha's Jengar, then went to Agatha and used Sucker Punch, finally defeating Agatha's Jengar. Jengar reverted to its Mega Evolution form and lost its ability to battle. Gym Leader Agatha's Jengar is unable to battle. You win the challenge room, come back. Agatha recalled her Jengar. That was really tough. Agatha shook her head and took out another Pokeball. Go, Jengar. This was the Jengar from before, the one that slept with Dusknoir. Come back, go, Dusknoir. Xihen also recalled his Jengar and took out Dusknoir. Dusknoir, use Dark Hole. Xihen used Dark Hole without hesitation. Before the opponent's Jengar could react, it was trapped in the Dark Hole and fell asleep. Let me get my revenge. Use Dream Eater. Xihen, seeking retribution for his earlier attack on Ghastly, used Dream Eater to defeat Jengar, instantly killing the opponent's Jengar. This meant Akiko had lost 4 Pokemon. Come back, Jengar. Misdreavus. Use Spectral Beam. Akiko truly retaliated this time. Misdreavus jumped out and immediately used Spectral Beam, confusing Dusknoir. It then stood by, laughing as Dusknoir attacked itself. When Xihen took out a Pokeball to recall Dusknoir, Akiko immediately had Misdreavus use Black Sight, preventing Dusknoir from being recalled. Although I really wanted to play with your Dusknoir a little longer, never mind. Misdreavus. Use Shadow Ball. Akiko smiled and began her attack, first using Shadow Ball, which hit Dusknoir perfectly. Dusknoir was still confused and defenseless, unable to be recalled. Xihen had miscalculated. Dreamra, use consecutive Dark Pulse. To deal with the Ghost types, Dark-type moves are the best option. Dreamra used consecutive Dark Pulse to defeat Dusknoir. Xihen pursed his lips and recalled Dusknoir. This little thing, Dreamra, is still quite difficult to deal with. Dreamra, Scream Pokemon, Ghost-type Pokemon. While Dreamra likes to play pranks, and even those with trainers will play pranks, mainly on their trainers, Xihen took out his Pokédex to check, then picked up his next Pokemon. Druidfox, Dusknoir, Infernape, Jengar. This was Xihen's 5th Pokemon. Go, Absol. The Dark-type Absol is undoubtedly the best choice against Ghost types. Absol, Mega Evolve. As soon as Absol appeared, Xihen had it Mega Evolve. For Dreamra, it was a very difficult enemy to defeat. It's time, Miss Drevis, evolve. Kikuko took out a dark stone and tossed it to Miss Drevis. After catching the dark stone, Miss Drevis began to evolve. After a flash of white light, it evolved into Miss Drevis. Mewtwo, the evolved form of Miss Drevis, a ghost-type Pokémon. Its cry sounds like some strange incantation. Those who hear it will experience headaches and hallucinations. Absol, the disaster Pokémon. Absol uses its horn to foresee disasters. When Absol senses an impending catastrophe, it appears before humans. It is highly sensitive to changes in the sky and earth, possessing the ability to predict calamities. It is a long-lived Pokémon capable of living up to 100 years. After reviewing the information on the two Pokémon, the battle began. Absol, Taunt, then Dark Pulse. Xihen used the same moves she had used against Mega Gengar. Touched by Absol's Taunt, Miss Drevis could only attack, and was hit by Absol's Dark Pulse. Street Test, after the Dark Pulse hit, Xihen continued her attack. Mewtwo, sudden attack. Before Absol could even launch its attack, Akiko's Mismagius struck first, using Sucker Punch to strike before Absol could react. Just as it was about to hit Absol, a green barrier suddenly appeared around it, blocking the attack. Akiko frowned. How could this be? Putting aside the fact that Sucker Punch attacks before the opponent can use a move, based on her years of understanding of Pokémon, Absol's reaction just now showed no intention of using a move. This made Akiko look suspiciously at Xihen, only to see Xihen with a half-smile that was hard to decipher. Miss Magius's attack not only failed, but it was also hit by Absol's subsequent Street Knife attack, causing considerable damage. From the beginning until now, Miss Magius had been at a disadvantage, without any advantage whatsoever. It's not over yet, Absol. One more time, Street Test, Dreamonia, again, surprise attack. Kikuko refused to believe it and insisted on another round. Surprise attack successfully beat Yuki Absol to the punch, attacking Absol. Just as it was about to hit, a wall of light appeared in front of Absol, blocking the attack. Absol was hit by Street Test again, and spontaneously used a combo, Dark Pulse in pursuit. This hit Dreamonia, rendering it unable to fight. Kikuko also noticed something amiss. She couldn't harm Absol at all. The battle was essentially a foregone conclusion. Master Yuki, you're truly a master of disguise, Kikuko said to Yuki, recalling Dreamonia. She had already seen through the earlier defense, realizing it was all a ruse by Yuki. There's no such thing as a master of disguise. I haven't been hiding anything, Yuki smiled, also recalling Absol. Dreamonia is incapacitated. Absol wins. You're the last one. Go, Arbok. To deal with a snake, you need to use it. Go, Valor. Chapter 418. The challenge is underway. Volo, Thunderbolt. Xihen immediately had Volo use Thunderbolt. After all, Xihen's Pidgeot wasn't your average Pidgeot. It used various Thunder-type moves with ease, gradually pushing Akiko's Arbok to the brink of defeat. Volo flew in the air, continuously bombarding Arbok with moves like Thunderbolt and Thunderbolt. Arbok couldn't touch Volo at all, neither with its moves nor anything else. Akiko was internally complaining, is this Pidgeot or Zapdos? This guy seems even stronger than Zapdos. Sigh. Unfortunately, she couldn't recall her Pokémon. She had awkwardly recalled Gengar once before, and Xihen had tacitly agreed, otherwise, fighting a sleeping Gengar, wouldn't that be bullying? The final Thunderbolt, Arbok had been bullied enough. A burst of lightning erupted from Volo's body, striking down from the sky and defeating Arbok, which was completely blackened by the shock. Come back, Arbok. I think we don't need to fight the last one, lest my Pokémon get hurt for nothing. After recalling Arbok, Agatha Christie tossed the gym badge to Xihen. As expected of the legendary strongest person in the world, Kanto is going to be lively now, Agatha Christie sighed, then left under Xihen's bewildered gaze. Come back, Xihen recalled Valor, remained silent for a moment, and then left as well. It was only noon. After eating, Xihen changed his Pokémon, bringing out Squirtle and Gardevoir. Due to time constraints, Xihen used Gardevoir's teleport to the next gym. Pewter Gym. Is anyone home? Xihen pushed open the door and entered the gym. Gyms in the Kanto region weren't so fancy. Basically, you just entered and immediately faced off. Hello, I'm the gym leader. Could you wait a moment? A middle-aged man emerged from behind the door, wearing an apron for cooking, and carrying a needle and thread. Is this Brock's father? Kids are just playing around. Their clothes got torn, but it'll be fine soon. Okay, alright, Xihen raised an eyebrow and sat down to wait for him. A moment later, he came out, and a group of children ran out from the stands to watch the battle. "Sorry to keep you waiting, I'm gym leader Wu Neng." Xihen finally saw Wu Neng's full appearance. He looked just like Brock, a perfect father and son. It's alright, let's start the gym battle, I'm in a hurry." Xihen stood up and took out a Pokeball. You're that Xihen Xihen, right?" Wu Neng's eyes suddenly widened as he stared at Xihen. Xihen thought to himself, so this guy has eyes. Yes, Xihen nodded. This guy, Wu Neng, aspired to become a Pokemon master in his early years, abandoning Brock and his mother to travel. In the end, he didn't achieve anything. When Brock was about to travel with Ash, he took Brock's place as gym leader. "I never thought I'd have to fight you one day. I only brought newly caught Pokemon, so it's just a regular gym battle." Xihen smiled kindly and took out his first Pokeball. "Go, Fennekin." "Alright, go, Geodude." Wu Neng's first Pokemon was Geodude. As Xihen expected, it was a level advantage, and the battle began. One of the children stepped down to act as the referee. He seemed to be the oldest child. Now, the battle between gym leader Wu Neng and challenger Xihen begins. The battle rules are 2 against 2. Only the challenger can change Pokemon. Battle begins. Fennekin, Flamethrower. After the referee announced the start of the battle, Xihen began his attack, using Flamethrower. Geodude was hit by Flamethrower. Although it was a fire-type move, it still caused considerable damage due to the level difference. Geodude, Tackle. At the moment, it seemed that Tackle was the move that could cause the most damage with his Geodude. Geodude used Tackle and charged towards Fennekin. Foxfire, use Protect and then Fire Blast. Xihen remained calm, using Protect to block Tackle, then using Fire Blast at Geodude's face, inflicting damage. Hyper Beam, Geodude is unable to battle. Foxfire wins, as expected of a Pokemon master. Geodude was defeated after just one move. Wu Neng thought to himself as he acquired Geodude. Go, Rock, come back, Foxfire, go, Squirtle. His Onix was clearly underdeveloped. It seemed Wu Neng was too busy taking care of these kids and hadn't had time to properly train his Pokemon. Onix, use Bind. As soon as Squirtle jumped out, Onix rushed over to help. Squirtle still lacked battle experience and its reaction was a bit slow. "It's okay, Squirtle, use Water Gun." Although Squirtle was bound and uncomfortable, it still forced itself to use Water Gun, attacking Onix's face. Onix, injured by a water-type move, released Squirtle with a pained expression. Squirtle took the opportunity to breathe deeply, finally feeling much better. Squirtle, Water Gun. Just as Squirtle caught its breath, Xihen gave the attack command again. Squirtle used Water Gun once more. Onix tried to dodge, but it was too late and was hit in a vital spot by the Water Gun, collapsing instantly. Onix is unable to battle. Squirtle wins. Since all the gym leaders' Pokemon are unable to battle, the winner is challenger Xihen. That battle was quick. Wu Neng recalled his Onix, walked over to Xihen, and handed him the badge. "Thanks, I'm in a hurry, so I'll be going now." Xihen checked his watch. It was only 4 p.m. There was still time to challenge the next gym. After saying goodbye to Wu Neng, Xihen went to the Pokemon Center in Pewter City. After restoring his Pokemon, Xihen took out Gardevoir and headed to the next gym, challenging 3 gyms in one day. At this speed, he would definitely make it to the start of the tournament. Xihen and Gardevoir used teleport to arrive at the next gym, the Cerulean Gym in Cerulean City. It was a water-type gym. The original gym leaders, the 3 Cerulean sisters, were busy with their favorite water performances and had handed the gym over to their youngest sister, Xiaoxia, who was Ash's first partner. Upon entering the gym, there was first an aquarium and a passageway lined with tanks on both sides, where various water-type Pokemon swam around. After walking for a while, Xihen saw a large door. Pushing it open, she saw the battle arena, a pool with several floating platforms on top. This was the battle arena of the Cerulean Gym. Xiaoxia was playing with her Pokemon in the pool. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 419 kicks down 4 dojos in a row. Misty, who was playing in the pool with her Pokemon in her swimsuit, saw Xihen and screamed after a moment of stunned silence. It wasn't because of the swimsuit, but because she saw Xihen. Master Xihen. Misty jumped out of the pool and clung to Xihen. Xihen looked at Misty clinging to him helplessly. What's wrong with her? I've never seen her before. I'm your fan. Misty seemed to notice the look in Xihen's eyes and quickly explained, I know, but can you get off me? Xihen raised an eyebrow, looking at Misty. Oh, Misty jumped off Xihen with slight disappointment. I came to get the gym badge. Let's battle. She finally got off, and Xihen explained his purpose. Here you go. Misty produced a teardrop badge from somewhere and held it up in front of Xihen, startling him. You're giving it to me like this? I can't beat you anyway, Misty said weakly, shoving the badge into Xihen's hand. Alright, I can challenge another gym. See you next time. Xihen grabbed the badge and ran off immediately, afraid Xiaoxia would pounce on him again. Although he'd inexplicably gotten a badge, Xihen wasn't bothered. He took Gardevoir to the next city, or rather, Gardevoir took Xihen to the next gym. The next gym was the Vermilion City Gym, an electric-type gym. The gym leader was Lieutenant Surge, who had once easily defeated Ash's Pikachu, almost causing it to evolve into Raichu. He was a formidable opponent for Ash, but ultimately, Ash's Pikachu defeated him. Is anyone home? Xihen pushed open the door. The gym was dark inside, and Xihen was already on the battlefield as soon as he entered. The tournament is about to start, and there are still brats challenging gyms now. Lieutenant Surge's arrogant voice came from the darkness. The gym was dark, and Lieutenant Surge couldn't see Xihen clearly. If he could, he probably wouldn't be so arrogant. Enough with the nonsense, let's fight. Xihen disliked this guy and immediately pulled out Gardevoir. Arrogant brat, go. Raichu, use Thunderbolt. Lieutenant Surge also seemed to dislike Xihen. However, Lieutenant Surge's fate was predictable. Gardevoir blocked Thunderbolt with Protect, then used Psychic to grab Raichu and slam it to the ground repeatedly until Raichu was unable to battle. Stop. Only when Xihen told Gardevoir to stop did she stop, slamming Raichu onto Lieutenant Surge. During this process, Lieutenant Surge, using the light from Raichu's Thunderbolt, caught a glimpse of Xihen's face. Badge. Xihen walked up to Lieutenant Surge, who was frozen in shock while holding Raichu, and held out her hand. Lieutenant Surge tremblingly took out a badge and placed it in Xihen's hand. His prized Pokémon, Raichu, was defeated in a single turn, without any chance to fight back. Was this the terrifying strength of that person? After receiving the badge, Xihen turned and left, heading directly to Lavender Town with Gardevoir. They weren't there for the gym, there wasn't one. Xihen wanted to see the Pokémon Tower, the burial place for deceased Pokémon. After finding a place to eat, Xihen went to the Pokémon Tower. It was 7:30 p.m., almost dark, and there weren't many people around. The Pokémon Tower was very quiet. Lavender Town is a medium-sized town. Most of the townspeople grew up around the Pokémon Tower, believing in the existence of spirits and having deep religious beliefs. They often visit the tower to pray for the safety and happiness of their Pokémon. The relatively small population of Lavender Town might be due to the lack of a gym, so trainers don't linger there. However, some people do stay in town to commemorate their deceased Pokémon. Ash once came to the Pokémon Tower to catch a ghost-type Pokémon in order to defeat Sabrina. Although he didn't catch one, he received help from Ghastly. With Ghastly's help, he defeated Sabrina's Alakazam. Afterwards, Ash didn't catch Ghastly and let it go, returning to the Pokémon Tower. Even though it was still a little while before dark, when Xihen arrived at the foot of the Pokémon Tower, the sky had already turned black. The sky above the Pokémon Tower was completely black, making one feel uneasy. Xihen entered the Pokémon Tower, but there was no one inside. The further Xihen went, the darker it became, until it was completely dark and he couldn't see anything. Xihen prepared to take out Gardevoir to use Flash to illuminate the way, but before Gardevoir could even come out, a spot suddenly lit up, the stairwell. Xihen put away Gardevoir's Pokéball and went over. If this were the real world, Xihen might have been startled, but this was the Pokémon world, and all these strange things were the work of Pokémon, so Xihen wasn't afraid. Xihen followed the light up the stairs, but as she walked, the stairs that were supposed to go up suddenly turned down, in the blink of an eye. Xihen found it strange but continued on. After what felt like a long time, she saw a door and pushed it open. Two Pokémon turned to look at her, two old friends, Darkrai and Cresselia. The one that had been illuminating the way ahead was probably Cresselia. What are you two doing here? Xihen was naturally happy to see them, But how did these two end up all the way from Kalos to Kanto? Master, it's been a long time, Cresselia said, but she sounded weak and listless. What happened to you two? Xihen asked, noticing their weak and listless appearance. They seemed to be seriously injured. We encountered Zekrom and Reshiram in Kalos. We were no match for them and were chased and beaten. Who knew they would relentlessly pursue us all the way from Kalos to Kanto? We were almost killed, Darkrai and Zekrom explained to Xihen in unison. They only left when we were almost dead. Luckily, the three of them healed us. Darkrai looked at the corner where Ghastly, Haunter, and Ajengar were standing. That incident happened only a month ago, and we are still recovering from our injuries. They're really badly hurt, Reshiram and Zekrom. Why did they chase you? Xihen was a little confused. Even if Xihen had fought Reshiram and Zekrom twice, they shouldn't have chased them to this extent, right? Darkrai and Cresselia looked at each other and sighed. It seemed there was more to the story. Chapter 420, Challenging the Rainbow Gym. Xihen took Darkrai and Cresselia with him. They had provoked Zekrom and Reshiram, leading to this situation. He'd put that aside for now. As long as he had Darkrai and Cresselia, they would naturally come looking for him one day. After resting for a night in Lavender Town, Xihen headed to the next gym, Celadon City. Celadon City was the second largest city in the Kanto region, home to a grass-type gym, and its trainer was Erica. Xihen and Gardevoir used teleport to arrive at the entrance of the Celadon gym. Come back, Gardevoir, Xihen said, recalling Gardevoir before entering the gym. Today was another busy day. He needed to challenge several gyms to keep up with the Kanto League tournament. The Celadon gym was large, filled with flowers and plants, but there wasn't a single person in sight. As he walked deeper in, he passed a flower room where the gym leader, Erica, was explaining perfume to a group of children, truly nurturing them from a young age. Can we start the gym battle now? Xihen, feeling helpless, knocked on the door and went inside to ask. Erica was startled, and upon seeing Xihen, suddenly bowed to him. Was that just politeness? Excuse me, could you please wait a moment? It'll be quick, okay? Xihen checked the time. It was 10:30 a.m., so it would probably be around 11 a.m. After answering, Xihen left and sat on a bench in the garden, waiting for Erica to finish her lesson. He was quite bored during this time. There wasn't much of a strategy to devise. It was just a matter of using Feralis, Flamethrower, and Fire Blast to easily win the gym battle. Finally, at 11:30 a.m., Erica rushed over in a panic, clutching her chest and bending over, panting heavily. Xihen just watched her until she caught her breath before standing up. Sorry to keep you waiting. Come with me. Erica knew Xihen was impatient as soon as he stood up. What are you two going to do? Okay, Xihen nodded and followed Erica to the center of the garden. The battleground was there, surrounded by trees and flowers. Xihen was worried a bunch of fiery foxes would burn his gym down. Erica looked young, but she was a university professor, like Katla, a young lady from a wealthy family. She was busy being a gym leader, a university professor, and teaching perfume to a group of children. Now, the battle between gym leader Erica and challenger Xihen begins. The battle rules are 3 against 3, only the challenger can change Pokémon. Battle begins. The battle started quickly after they arrived at the battleground. It seemed Erica had something else to do, and Xihen didn't want to drag it out. Go, Fiery Fox, I'm counting on you, Victreebel, Flamethrower. As soon as Victreebel jumped out, Xihen had Fiery Fox use Flamethrower. Victreebel couldn't dodge in time and was hit directly by Flamethrower, severely injured. Fire Blast to finish the battle. Flamethrower was followed by Fire Blast. The severely injured Victreebel couldn't dodge Fire Blast in time and was hit again. It had no chance to fight back and was defeated in 2 moves. Erica also recalled Victreebel with a slightly embarrassed look and took out her second Pokémon. I'll trouble you, Vileplume. Used Stun Powder. This time Erica attacked first and used Stun Powder, which floated towards Fiery Fox. Fiery Fox used Flamethrower. Xihen used Flamethrower again, burning the Stun Powder in the air and hitting Vileplume as well. She had completely gained the upper hand. Grass-type Pokémon were indeed too weak. The only useful move was Hardened Plant, which she didn't know. Chapter 421 Arrival at the Goldenrod Gym. Erica's Vileplume was also defeated by Stuart's Flamethrower and Fire Blast, completely helpless. This was Xihen Stuart's first winning streak. Last one, go, Gloom. Erica took out her last Pokémon, Gloom. Flame. Xihen didn't even give her a chance to attack, immediately using Flamethrower, and it had Gloom. Gloom, use photosynthesis to recover, Fire Blast. Xihen wouldn't wait for it to recover its stamina, immediately using Fire Blast. Gloom was unable to battle, the difference in strength was too great. After obtaining the badge, Xihen went to eat first. Busy May took a moment to call Xihen. The newly crowned Elite Four member May had been incredibly busy lately. After eating and making the call, Xihen headed to the next city, Saffron City, to obtain his 6th badge. Sabrina, the gym leader of Saffron City, is a very strong user of Psychic-type Pokémon. Ash almost turned into Dolph forever because of his gym battles. "Where's your gym leader?" Xihen entered the Saffron City gym. There weren't many people moving around. Xihen went into a room where many people were using spoons, trying to bend them with their minds. Xihen raised an eyebrow, thinking they were really bored, and randomly asked someone. "He's in the innermost room." The person was focused on his spoon, absent-mindedly telling Xihen without even looking at him. Xihen pursed his lips, ignored him, and walked towards the innermost room. Deep inside the Saffron City gym was a large door. Pushing it open led to the battle arena. Sabrina's parents were chatting nearby, while Sabrina sat opposite them, drinking coffee and looking at her phone, somewhat resembling Pidgeot. "Are you here to challenge the gym?" Sabrina stood up when she heard the door open, putting down what she was holding. "Hey, Yuuki." She looked incredulous when she saw Yuuki. Yuuki actually came to the Kanto region? Sinnoh champion Yuuki. Sabrina's parents also looked at Yuuki after hearing this. "Yes, I'm here to challenge the gym." Sabrina's personality seemed very good, probably influenced by Ash. Or rather, this was her original personality. "Then you'd better hurry, the competition starts in 2 days." Sabrina walked to the other side of the battlefield, took out her Pokeball. Sabrina's figure was perfect, with long legs. If Yuuki hadn't been so lucky, he probably wouldn't have been able to take his eyes off her. The battle rules are one-on-one. The battle ends when one side's Pokemon is unable to battle. The battle begins. Sabrina's father stood up and became the referee. "Go, Abra." Sabrina's Pokemon was Abra. Speaking of her Abra, it was a bit special. After evolving, it could turn back into Abra, which was quite resilient. "Tyranitar, it's up to you." Xihen brought out Tyranitar, one of the main Dark-type Pokemon. After all, Sabrina possessed Elite Four level abilities, and her strength was not to be underestimated. However, with Tyranitar on the table, Sabrina was helpless. Evolve. Sabrina had Abra evolve, first into Kadabra, then directly into Alakazam. And that wasn't all. Sabrina's ring glowed, and Alakazam underwent Mega Evolution. Abra completed 4 evolutions in a short time. Tyranitar, Mega Evolve. Xihen also had Tyranitar Mega Evolve. The battle between the 2 Mega Evolved Pokemon was about to begin. Tyranitar, Dark Pulse. Xihen attacked first, Tyranitar using Dark Pulse against Alakazam. Alakazam dodged with Teleport. This was Sabrina using telepathy to control Alakazam. Sabrina, like Gadria, could use psychic abilities, even to help her Pokemon teleport. Tyranitar was essentially fighting 2 people. Chapter 422 Winning the Dojo Victory. Tyranitar, use Earthquake. Alakazam, fly. Sabrina made Alakazam float in the air, dodging the earthquake. Stone Sharp. Xihen took the opportunity to have Tyranitar use Stone Sharp on Alakazam, but Alakazam used Teleport to dodge it. Alakazam couldn't defeat Tyranitar, and Tyranitar couldn't defeat Alakazam either. For a while, they were just bombarding each other with moves, but Tyranitar was expending more energy than Alakazam, since Tyranitar's moves were all powerful attacks. Alakazam shouted and used Energy Ball on Tyranitar. Tyranitar was hit by the Energy Ball and took damage. Now Tyranitar was at a disadvantage. Although Psychic-type moves were ineffective against Tyranitar, Alakazam still had other moves to deal with it. If Tyranitar didn't catch Alakazam, this battle would be won by Alakazam. Tyranitar, use Rock Tomb. Xihen made Tyranitar use Rock Tomb, trying to use it to catch Alakazam. Alakazam repeatedly tried to teleport away from Tyranitar's Rock Tomb, even though the field was already piled high with rocks. Tyranitar eventually managed to catch Alakazam, preventing it from teleporting. Now, Tyranitar, use Earthquake, then Hyper Beam. Tyranitar used Earthquake, inflicting massive damage on Alakazam, then followed up with Hyper Beam, defeating it and rendering it unable to battle. Alakazam is unable to battle, Tyranitar wins, so the winner is Challenger Xihen. "I guess I lost after all." "Come back." Sabrina wasn't disappointed, it seemed expected. She recalled her lackism. Come back, Tyranitar. It wasn't easy. Defeat your lackism. Xihen also recalled his Tyranitar and said to Sabrina. This is a badge. A badge floated in front of Xihen. He put it in his pocket and prepared to leave. Wait, Sabrina suddenly called out to Xihen as he was about to leave. What is it, Sabrina-san? Xihen stopped and turned to look at Sabrina. Because of the Indigo League, I'll be one of the Kanto Elite Four, facing the challenge of the Indigo League champion. So, shall I travel with you? It turns out Sabrina is going to be one of the Kanto Elite Four. So now the Kanto Elite Four are, Ghost-type Elite Four member Agatha Christie, Rock-type Elite Four member Shiba Inu, Psychic-type Elite Four member Sabrina, and Ice-type Elite Four member Lorelei, Champion, Dragon Knight, and Lance. Originally, the other Elite Four member was Kaga, the Fuchsia City gym leader, but Sabrina is listed here. Okay, sure. Xihen nodded and waited for Sabrina at the gym entrance. A moment later, Sabrina came out, now dressed in a black leather outfit. The tight-fitting leather accentuated her perfect figure. Xihen smiled and took out Gardevoir. We still have 2 gyms to challenge. Let's head to the Fuchsia City gym now. I heard that Kaga, the Fuchsia City gym leader, has also reached Elite Four level. She's very strong, Sabrina said to Xihen. Yes, I know. Gardevoir, teleport. Xihen nodded and used teleport to send Gardevoir to the Pokemon Center in Fuchsia City. Xihen restored Tyranitar's stamina, then switched Pokemon and went to Fuchsia City Gym with Sabrina. Although they had a new travel partner, they would only be together for 2 days. The Indigo League would begin in 2 days. Chapter 423 Arrival at the Crimson Dojo. Xihen and Sabrina arrived at the entrance of the Fuchsia Gym and saw a woman in pink clothes perched on a tree, seemingly still in her ninja uniform. Ozing, Sabrina called out to the woman in the tree, startling her so much she almost fell. It's Sabrina? Ozing jumped down from the tree and ran to Sabrina's side. You two know each other. I've been here before to battle Aju, so naturally we know each other. Sabrina nodded in reply. Okay, then, where's the gym leader? Xihen nodded and asked Ozing. I'm the gym leader, Ozing patted her conscience and said. Stop it, Ozing, the Indigo League is about to start, we're in a hurry, Sabrina said, covering her mouth and laughing. I haven't even asked yet, how come you, Elite Four member Sabrina, are with Master Xihen? Ozing gave Sabrina a gossipy look, grinning at her. We just happen to be together, Sabrina replied nonchalantly. They weren't really related anyway. Xihen scoffed, ignoring Ozing, and walked into the gym. There was a trap at the entrance, and Xihen almost fell into the hole. Sabrina used her psychic powers to levitate her. What's going on? Xihen said, looking at the hole in the ground after returning to the surface. Haha, you can't get into the gym without my guidance, Ozing said proudly, as if to say, you can't challenge the gym without me leading the way, then let's go to another gym. Xihen shrugged nonchalantly, and was about to leave. No. I'll take you in. Ozing finally realized that this Sinnoh champion's temper wasn't so good after all, and dared not smile anymore. She led Xihen and Sabrina through the house, turning left and right, until they reached a backyard. Are you kidding me? Xihen gritted her teeth, looking at Ozing. If it was in the backyard, wouldn't it have been easier to just walk around the outside of the house? Why go through so many traps? Ozing chuckled and then quickly ran off. Sorry, looks like Ozing's being naughty again. A person jumped down from the tree in the backyard, also dressed as a ninja. This must be gym leader Aju. More than just naughty, Sabrina walked up and greeted Aju. This is Kamiya Yuukin. Sabrina then introduced Yuukin to Aju. I'm gym leader Aju, it's an honor to meet you. Aju walked up to Yuukin and shook hands with him. Well, it's getting late, let's hurry up and start the gym battle. Yuukin checked the time and said to Aju. Okay, Aju nodded, walked to the other side of the battlefield, and took out his Pokeball. Ozing, who seemed to have appeared out of nowhere, acted as the referee. Now, the battle between gym leader Aju and challenger Xihen begins. The battle rules are 3 against 3, continuing until all of one side's Pokemon are unable to battle. Also, only the challenger can switch Pokemon. Battle begins. Go, Pokemon. Aju's first Pokemon was a Pokemon. Go, Squirtle. Seeing that the opponent was a Pokemon, Xihen used Squirtle. Finally, Squirtle got its chance to shine. Squirtle, U-turn. Xihen launched the first attack. Squirtle retracted into its shell and spun towards Pokémon at high speed. Pokémon couldn't dodge in time and was taken advantage of from the start, suffering damage from Squirtle's U-turn. Squirtle was very happy after landing. This Squirtle had a strong desire to battle. It had been out with a trainer for the past few days and hadn't had much of a battle. Now it could finally battle. And the opponent was not boring either, being a rock type. How could Squirtle not be happy? Chapter 424 Helpless Aju. Furball had suffered a setback, and now Squirtle had the upper hand. Following Xihen's usual strategy, Xihen instructed Squirtle to press its advantage. Squirtle, use water gun. Squirtle reacted quickly, using water gun to continue attacking Furball. Furball's reaction wasn't as fast, and it was hit again by Squirtle's water gun. Furball, use Psychic. Furball wasn't just a bug-type Pokémon, it could also use Psychic-type moves. After being hit by water gun, it used Psychic, successfully grabbing Squirtle and throwing it against a nearby tree. Squirtle was badly hurt, but it managed to get back up. Squirtle, stand up. Xihen also told Squirtle to stand up. Squirtle quickly stood up, shook its head, and regained its senses. Use Rapid Spin. Squirtle doesn't have many moves at the moment, and this is the only one that can be used. Squirtle used Rapid Spin and hit the Furball again, damaging it. Squirtle, use Rapid Spin and Water Gun at the same time. Xihen suddenly had an idea. Squirtle used Rapid Spin, and then used Water Gun at the same time. The Water Gun spun in the air and hit the Furball several times. Then the Furball was hit by Squirtle's Rapid Spin again, and it was directly unable to battle. The Furball had already suffered too much damage. The move just now was something Xihen thought of, Infernape's Flamethrower plus Fire Wheel, so he had Squirtle use this move. Unexpectedly, it worked very well and directly defeated the Furball. Fluffy is unable to battle, Squirtle wins. Xihen announced the result. Aju recalled his Fluffy and took out his second Pokémon, Go, Coughing. Aju's second Pokémon was Coughing. Despite being a gym leader skilled in Poison-type moves, his first Pokémon couldn't even use a single Poison-type move. Come back, Squirtle, you did very well. Xihen recalled Squirtle and praised it. For Squirtle, it was indeed a good performance. Xihen also took out his second Pokéball, Go, Noctowl. To deal with these poisoners, winged Pokémon are the best choice. They can completely neutralize poison powder and gas, making them unable to touch you. Noctowl? Coughing, use U-turn. It seems Aju knew his intentions and had Coughing use U-turn first. Raise your altitude to dodge. Although Coughing can fly, it can't fly as high as Noctowl. Noctowl raised its altitude, causing Coughing to miss. Air Cutter. Xihen began using Noctowl's flight advantage to attack Coughing. Noctowl flapped its wings and used Air Cutter, hitting the low-flying Coughing. Coughing, use Destiny Bond. Aju, left with no other choice, used this move, attempting to take Noctowl down with it. However, Xihen wouldn't let Aju have his way. Noctowl, use Baton Pass. Noctowl used Baton Pass, returning to its Pokéball and summoning its next Pokémon, Gardevoir. Gardevoir immediately used Psychic to grab Coughing, repeatedly slamming it to the ground until it lost its ability to battle. The level difference was simply too great. Coughing had absolutely no chance to fight back and was defeated. The Baton will randomly switch out a Pokémon from the team. He should be glad that he didn't switch out Camo. Coughing is unable to battle. Gardevoir wins. Xihen announced the result again. The gym battle has been confirmed as Xihen's victory, but Aju still wants to finish the last battle and took out a third Pokéball. Chapter 425 The Awkward Xiaobo. Go, Moru. Aju took out his last Pokémon, Moru. Xihen hadn't switched Pokémon, they needed to finish the battle quickly, as Xihen was hungry. Gardevoir, Energy Ball. As soon as Moru came out, Xihen had Gardevoir attack, sending an Energy Ball towards her. Moru, dodge. Moru nimbly dodged Gardevoir's Energy Ball. However, the next moment, Gardevoir suddenly used Teleport to appear behind Moru, using Energy Ball again, hitting her squarely at close range and causing considerable damage. Hyper Beam. Moru was knocked to the ground. Xihen waved his hand, and Gardevoir used Hyper Beam, hitting the fallen Moru again. Moru was unable to battle, the level difference was too great. Moru is unable to battle, Gardevoir wins. Since all of the gym leader's Pokémon are unable to battle, the challenger wins. Xihen looked at the fallen Moru, stunned for a moment, and then said, Having obtained their 7th gym badge, Xihen and Sabrina said goodbye and went to the hotel together. What are you two up to? They ate at the hotel, booked 2 rooms, and then went to rest. During this time, Xihen received a call from Nej, who said she had caught 6 Pokémon and obtained 4 badges, adding that she had become very strong. After hanging up, Xihen checked her phone to learn about recent competitions. The internet in this world was becoming increasingly advanced. All sorts of Pokémon competitions could be watched on mobile phones, live broadcasts, recorded videos, and even commentary streams. People were making a good living through the internet. It could be said that Xihen had benefited many people. The next morning, Xihen woke up early and prepared breakfast. He then waited for Sabrina to wake up, but she was quite late, waiting from around 7 a.m. until after 9 a.m. Sabrina came to Xihen's room and they ate breakfast together. Afterwards, they went to the Pokémon Center. Xihen changed his Pokémon, took out Gardevoir, and used teleport to reach the location of the last badge, Twin Islands. Originally, the Cinnabar Gym was on Cinnabar Island, but it was completely destroyed by a volcanic eruption, and gym leader Blaine moved to Twin Islands. Twin Islands consist of 2 identical islands, hence the name. Blaine lived in a cave on Twin Islands. The old man enjoyed playing with mazes and puzzles, so he hid himself there. However, Xihen didn't care about his messy mechanisms and mazes. He simply had Gardevoir sense where someone was and teleport there. When Gardevoir arrived at Blaine's location, the once cold cave suddenly became steamy and warm. Sabrina blushed and silently turned her head away. Gardevoir, you really can't live without hot springs, can you? Xihen coughed, looking at Blaine, who was stunned in the hot spring. The old man had actually been seen naked by a young man and woman, and he seemed to know them. How did you get in? Blaine saw Sabrina turn away, quickly jumped out, put on his clothes, and then said to Xihen with a serious face. Gardevoir's teleport, your traps are too troublesome. Xihen pointed to Gardevoir, who had turned away like Sabrina. I'm here to challenge the gym. You should know that time is running out, Xihen said after seeing Blaine's knowing look. Come with me. Blaine nodded and then led Xihen and Sabrina out. This hot spring was heated by Blaine's Pokémon, and it was a lot of work. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.